I like how it looked like it's the morning time, but it's really not. Hold on, maybe if I take off these, you can really see. Yo, what's good? It's your boy Africa. We back at it this morning, late night. Um, Market gonna open up in, let's say, about like 45 minutes. Um, Ain't too much really shaking right now. We got some trading coming up. I think we up about like 600 on the day. Nothing too major. We gonna put in that work. Try to get that count to pass. We have like use the force to pass. Um, what we got?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I think in Walmart's particular case, and we'll see the numbers on Thursday after they report, and that should be obviously one of the, if not the most important earnings day that's going to be reported this week. Inside of sectors, you see the differentiation. Like, it's not about this sector is going to win, this sector is going to lose. It's like, well, who in this sector is going to dominate utilizing AI? And as you said, it comes down to the fact that Walmart was already a juggernaut when it comes to logistics, and they've been the ones first to implement, and that's why they're getting this benefit. Now, it's getting a little bit outstretched here. Like, you just put in, like, we just had a week on Walmart where that's the biggest, it's only had 2 weeks of that nature, and you have to go back to the tariff system. So it is a little bit extended going into earnings. I don't wonder if there's going to be some kind of
Just waiting on the stock market to open. Release. We got this down. Oh my god, we got this downtrend that started yesterday when the stock market opened around 3 o'clock. Um, I took a couple shorts, then held on. I got out at the trend line support. It broke down. Boom. Eventually it comes, hit that. It been consolidating in that range. Then it decides to break out. Boom, boom, boom. I take some shorts here, get stopped out here. Didn't lose too much. And boom. Last time that I checked, I got out of the trade and it ended up going all the way down.
I don't know what catalyst is going to get it there today. It's actually down a point. So, at least for now, I think you got a good one. Just like the trend line that I see on this daily chart. Puts it at about 147, 148. That would be the support on said trend line. So many names to watch here this week. The only thing that's kind of quiet this week is there aren't a lot of IPOs. But there was supposed to be a big one on Friday that didn't actually come out. But yeah, I think the next thing for the IPO market, obviously everyone's going to be interested in seeing the biggest names, and that'll be, look, SpaceX is probably like the biggest one out there for sure. But it has been a relatively, I think, busy start to the year when it comes to new names. So we want to see that uptick come back in, just a ridiculous number of stacks as well that are out there, which I don't think is a very good sign overall for the market. I think when we get super frothy with stacks, it seems to me speculative stocks head to the downside, and in fact, it's been true. The stack has been weak. No massive IPOs this week, although, of course, I still think it's a very good year for it.
Yeah, it should be. I just wanted to show you, like, just what's working in our stock picking contest. We picked 36 names, all of us, including the chat, everything like that. I mean, and right here, out of 36 names, only 13 are green, and the top 3 are all shorts, right? So Sidhu, Circle, and Oracle. So the 3 shorts, obviously, in this market, we pick these, near enough to the beginning of the year, all bad, rate, all good, sorry, on the short side. And then look what's been working, right? We got Randy here. I don't know why there's an asterisk beside Randy, but we got Randy, we got Obi, we got Fabian, all with XOM. I don't know. I'm not sure anybody knows what BW is. AG there, Silver Plate, right? Walmart right there. Northrop Grumman, so that's up 11%. Great pick there by Sharif. FCX there, Neil with Copper coming through. Starbucks and a little construction name right there, and then some Boeing action. And then Randy again, right there with Volkswagen. And look what really isn't working, man. It's NVIDIA, CRISPR. I'm surprised Dollar Tree. Marvell, that's my guy over there. Alibaba, JP Morgan not working. Tesla not working.
Wow, look at that push.
It's really strange actually to see.
Wow.
Some power names also to the downside. IREN down. Like they're all getting smoked right now. ASDS, Uber, Thermo Fisher down, right? So there's a lot of names. AVAV, BBAI, Bitcoin getting crushed. So, a lot of the tech names right there getting to the hit to the downside, and a lot of the names, again.
Wow, look at that.
And answer is yes. Can you hold copper? So, can you buy like, there's Walmart, there's Boeing. Can't really hold a plane in your hands, but you can.
Stock market starting to wake up.
All of these names, again, working to the upside. So that's going to be fun to keep watching our portfolio tracker as we continue to go. But just another example there. If you're long stuff this year, we know which areas to be long, and it's not in the tech space yet. I still think it'll be a nice little rebound at some point. Look at the NASDAQ right now. NASDAQ can go boom right here. Okay. Not sure if there's any news related to this, but there goes the market. Up again. See if you get 25,000 average views we got there today. 24/7 right now. But wow, nice little bump up there. Wonder what is causing this. I had written down some longs for Google down in here at 300. That's gone right now. Upside, but yeah, nice little bump there. More potentially stories, but
yeah, it looks like more Rand comments. Iran Foreign Ministry reached understanding on main principles with the U.S.
Yeah,
so that just hit the wire. So it looks like an understanding is reached on main principles with the United States. That's pretty late on details, but deals getting made. There were actually
solving a lot of situations.
There were some deals made in the last couple of weeks, and we hadn't even been, because everyone's been focused on AI. There really hasn't been much talk about some progress on trade deals in Asia as well. So, more good news here. That's actually halfway to green on the Qs. The ES even closer. ES could go green. I'll just pull up the SPY here a little faster. ES could go green on these headlines. So all of a sudden, we start to see a little strength come into the market, just as we were talking more doom and gloom, everybody. Now, we'll keep our ear to the ground. I'm sure I can already see Adara making sure she keeps her ear to the ground for more news. But so far, so good, Brendan. We actually might.
This is actually perfect because I'm trying to go short. So this is perfect. So let's let this continue to go higher, and then we can short all these things. This doesn't solve anything in the market, everybody.
Oil down.
Yeah, oil downside, obviously. So oil down to session lows right now. We can check that as CL /. I'm going to go with March contract right there, 62.55. So there you go. Oil with a nice move to the downside right there to 62.50 on hopefully some, as we said there, a little bit of a discussion there with Iran and the United States. So we'll see where that goes from here. So yeah, so far so good today. As there goes oil, there goes up the market. We've seen these moves happen before, just get faded. I hope the market can stay up here so we can go short, but for right now, oil downside, down 1% right there. So there we go. Everybody right now waiting to see what the next play is going to be. I'm still long XLE. I don't have any plans of selling anything here in this space. So let's see if this continues to work as well. Wouldn't be surprised. There it is. If we get a downside tick right here as well. Fed's Goolsbee talking now. Several rate cuts ahead if inflation continues to go lower. Obviously, we get that 2.4 print on Friday as opposed to 2.7. So that was a really good print there as well. I'm sure the trading was outstanding on Friday. We'll see if we can do it again here today. Let's go back over to the desk. It's 8:55. We're almost ready for our rundown.
Speaking of Randy, he was at the Canadian International Car Show on the weekend and ran into this guy. I guess they had it roped off, but Optimus was in the building. My observation, just very quickly from this picture, and I don't know what this says about Tesla or Optimus. Look at all these people. Everyone in the back, like all of these people, everyone in the background is far more concerned and looking at McLaren in the background versus Tesla and Optimus. It's obviously just an angle, but yeah, maybe we should talk to Randy at some point today about the Optimus.
I think that'd be a great idea because he was there like in person. He can tell us what people were looking at, right?
Yeah.
So I think, I think with Optimus too, we've seen a lot of photos of it. We've seen a lot of videos of it. There have already been some people speculating that, hey, could there be a person in the Optimus? Now, obviously, we don't know. We don't have any idea. But I think, like Optimus, we've seen so many photos of it, literal merch of it. I think maybe some of the excitement is worn off. I don't think that means by any means that the product is not awesome or won't be helpful or anything. I really don't have an opinion on it either way, but I think that is interesting that people seem more interested in that McLaren again, as you mentioned, at least in one photo, in one angle.
Just saying.
Interesting observation.
Might be absolutely nothing, but anyway. Just a quick rundown here of the economic calendar of what is to come this week, so everyone is on the same page. We got this morning, the ADP employment change. That's a weekly number, 10.2 thousand versus what happened last time was 7.75. So that's a positive number. So good if it's upside. Fed's bar coming out at 12:45. There's a couple of Fed speakers today. Goolsbee right now. Daily supposed to be later as well in the day. So keep that in mind. Some housing data tomorrow. Really, we also get FOMC minutes tomorrow at 2 p.m. Mark that one down. Really not much to worry about then until Friday. So we get an early look on GDP. That's a Q4 GDP print advanced. PCE, both on the quarterly side advanced, and then the actual PCE number coming up. 10 o'clock, we get that Michigan consumer sentiment number coming up on Friday as well. So some Fed speak sprinkled through the week. The big day, though, on the economic calendar going to be coming up on Friday, guys. Randy was just telling me that Optimus was not even plugged in, let alone turned on, which was kind of disappointing, but you would think it'd have it roaming around the floor there.
That's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't surprise me that people are looking elsewhere. We know what Optimus looks like. If it wasn't doing stuff, I mean, I wouldn't be that, like, nobody would be that interested. Like, my daughter would be like, so what? It's just standing there. And it is a car show, too, like, at the end of the day. But, look, let's be real for a second. If that thing was, walking around making people cocktails or doing whatever it can do, it obviously would be a little bit more interesting. At the end of just one note, because as we just saw with the market with a little bit of a bounce out of Ranhan line, I'm just going to point out maybe a 15 minutes not going to do it. A 3-minute probably makes this point a little bit better. This little mini spike that you can't even see is what IBIT did. So suffice to say that on that little Ranhan line, Bitcoin didn't move an ounce or an inch, I should say. I want people to get confused. It didn't move. And when you're not bouncing with the market, I'm not changing the mind. We didn't actually get to 39.5 on Friday up top there. We're short a couple times. One, scalp off the open, and then later on in the session we made this like triple top, whatever you want to call it. But that level might be hard to get to if we're not going to even bounce with the overall market. So we might have to think about something a little bit lower, like even where I know close doesn't really matter. It's a 24-hour market, but it did close at 39. Bitcoin can't seem to get past 70K. And as long as that's the case, it's hard to feel bullish about almost anything that I see. Like I throw up this daily on Bitcoin. Out a little bit. There we go. It's hard to feel that good. We had one bounce, and since then, look at the little bit of resistance. Every time we bounce over 70K, just instant rejection and feeling like we could just roll right back over. So I'm going to continue to look for the shorts underneath that 70K level on BTC and throw in the fact that, again, like I said, we just had, whether you call it positive catalyst or not, we had a positive headline that spiked the Qs and spiked the market, and as usual, Bitcoin didn't do much of anything. So I'm not changing my mind there.
Yeah, I mean, I did not get the wish that I had hoped. I as soon as that market went up, I was like, keep going because we want to short it. It's not at the short level yet. And then this is exactly what happened, like as if the market hurt us. I was literally saying as we were breaking higher, saying like we're almost at this level, and then it completely dropped on that. So, and I said that this deal with Iran is not going to do anything with this market. It's not going to do it. why the market's all the way down, and then there it goes, downside right back in. So, hey, look, man, I mean, a better deal.
Oh man, I just did want to point out how prevalent this trend line is.
I mean, you don't want uncertainty. The market definitely does.
Like, it's crazy. I should have took that trade because boom. One thing that I do love about trades is that when it does bounce heavy off those areas of a support level, because look, one big boom right into, I'm gonna call this the reverse trend. Boom. Look how many times this area right here.
Maybe starting it at 47.50 was early, but if we got going at like 48.50, so right there on the TQQs.
So yeah, maybe sometime in the future we can get a good bounce and take a trade right there. So what area is that? That is the 582.
Friday's close right there, 48.50.
So yeah, let's see. Oh,
so yeah, man. So far so good here, as the market is pretty much doing
I like that trade.
It's only 9:02 right now. Should be a very, very exciting open. And on that note, we have a jam-packed watch list for you, so make sure you go grab that watch list with the link in description. Sign up, grab that, free, delivered right to your inbox, and discussed by us every day at 9 a.m. And it's 9:01. So back to the desk with Adair and Brendan.
Great job, Chuck. Great job.
Yeah, what's interesting about that trade is too,
JFB here, a little bit of an uptick up to 35.
if we just going off this area alone, what we did all last night. So since the stock market opened right here,
to kick things off, pretty good day going into Friday.
no, like right up in here, it went up, boom. So right up in here is where we started.
Two analyst notes from the same analyst on Coinbase and MSTR, both of which I mentioned earlier in Mizuho, adjusting some price targets on both stocks.
Monday.
Coinbase, you have Gary Gola, this Mizuho analyst, maintaining its neutral rating on the shares, but cutting its price target from 280.
Don't say right in here.
They said this company could get hit here by the
So high of yesterday is that 24,907, 24,907. Can we grind all the way to the top?
Even though the company's going to be hit here by the reduction in Bitcoin prices with Bitcoin, he thinks their reserve money that they have for dividends positions them relatively well compared to some of these other names. So MSTR actually getting a buy rating maintained, well, neutral over here. Sorry, Coinbase over here with a neutral rating maintained. So COIM looking a little bit worse here with these Mizuho headline than our friend MSTR.
Yeah, a little bit on the downside here. I was going to grab this headline once again. I lost it though. Tom Lee, it was 3.2%, I think, or 3.5%. Tom Lee now owns 3.5% of Ethereum, essentially, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. But IBIT guys trying to hold on to some key levels here as well.
Yeah, I'm just seeing if I actually like DNR more than IBIT today. Not really. It don't necessarily like the levels as much. We're just sort of going over IBIT. Like it couldn't do anything with this 39 level on Friday. It was sort of like multiple times up the top, get that short, but didn't really follow through. Like it technically gave you like a 1% move on a rebound day, really, because Friday was a rebound day, and we've lost those gains almost entirely from the morning on Friday morning. So we'll give that short the pop. It's going to be the 39 area first. I don't know if we'll get to 39 and a half. Maybe like IBIT. It's disappointing for Coinbase because, I really did think if the weekend goes a little bit better, this was very well primed for a breakout over 168. And, I'm not, I don't want stocks to go down, but we did say this last week that if we don't get through 68 and close above, all we've accomplished, all the stock has accomplished is consolidating off a triple bottom. If you just manage to hold the low and stave off disaster. Let's just put it that way. But we're still close enough. You're $6 away from the level, so it's about 3.5 points. It would have to go red to green today. I don't have it on the list for a breakout trade, but it's not impossible. If we get a very strong day and Coinbase can close above 168 on a 15-minute, then that is still a potential breakout trade. But I'm not looking that way today. I'm looking Bitcoin short, so very unlikely we see that for Coinbase today. Disappointing, because I think how strong this was on Friday did lend itself to a potential like following gap fill through 68. It's just not going to happen, I don't think, this early. So I'll stick with shorting Bitcoin into 39.
All right, so I chose. We'll talk about silver. So I just I like Bitcoin. I want to be short. I want to be short everything today. We'll see if we change our mind. Obviously, if we can break out. We talked about some of the levels that we looked at before. I wrote down silver 69.50, which is Friday's close. Again, like that move just happened, right? And so can't predict this thing going to 65.50, but if it does go $2 to the upside the other way, then that's when I sort of want to sit there and short. Look, the tide might be turning, and maybe this market does get green today, that for sure. But when silver was already down heading into this morning, so I was like, and again, I write this down when it's at $68. So I write down.
I like to see some levels. Not really seeing too much besides a trade at the 25.82.
Nothing was going off this morning, and
it's really nothing shaking right now, man.
Even explosive move higher into 69.50 is working strong for me, and we can get out of the way to break through $70. I mean, I think that would make sense. We'd be above than the 50 period, above the 200 period moving average, and we can get away from it. So yeah, I really, really like this short, man. 69.50 for SLV. I think it continues to work. The fact that it's down 4% doesn't really change anything for me. I mean, if it was flat, I might even be looking long. I like the fact that we're starting lower on the space. Even gold's lower here right now. As everybody wonders, what asset is the right one to hold for the next little while. It doesn't look like gold or silver are trying to catch a bump here. So gold to me is not long until we break above this 470, and silver's a little choppier than gold. On the daily, maybe not really. On this $80 market, so for me. But as long as we still keep on testing this lower band right there of 60, I mean, this could be a great break of 64.50 to the downside as well, right there on silver. So I think there's a lot of possibilities here. Looking short with an easy out to the upside if we're wrong. So those are the kind of trades that I like. You can't push size and just think about a trade. It has to be one that you really do like. So I'm gonna have to wait and be a little more specific and patient if we can get to 69.50 on SLV. Or now that I see that low break there, that's also something pretty interesting to me right now. 64.60. We can break that one. So I would really, really appreciate that to happen as well. And thank you so much, Assy Dane there. Very good analysis. Okay, well, thank you for that one. Really appreciate that. And Ron, yeah, that's right. Aurora Alpha mentioned. I think it was.
What I asked, and I come to you, and I just want to thank you for the life that I live right now. I pray that I can make something of myself, and I pray that I just come out and live my dreams so I can get back to my people as soon as possible. I pray that I can just make it back to my people and spend time with them. Lord, I ask for comfortability in my life, mentally, physically. I pray for confidence. I can build myself up. I pray that I can look myself in the face and be happy with who I am. I pray for my loved ones who are to you, switched up and listening to people. Pray that you just guide them and protect them, Lord. Yeah, some praises and
Brian, even last week, so that looks like a good call by you or Alpha. They're holding that today. And if there's no rhyme, there may be no reason. But right now, that is a nice move. Up 27% right there. Another low float name and big runner there, Rhyme. Let's go back over.
Well, before we do, there is a reason for Service Now to be up 4%. Just moving. CEO and CFO terminate stock trading plan, but announced intent to purchase 3 million shares in filing. So while they may have terminated the stock trading plan, if you're going to be insider buying 3 million shares by the CEO, up 4.5%. Yet another, that's not completely split adjusted, but another software which is absolutely ultra recently has made a distinct bottom at, guess it, $100 and now breaking out. So this is another name that basically held on to the lows last week and is actually showing signs of a breakout of next level, filling in some gaps. Can the next name on the list do something similar, Palantir?
Just reading a note here from JP Morgan. I guess it was last week. This is kind of interesting. Josh Brown actually took credit, I guess, last week for this halo term, which goes back to what we were talking about earlier this morning. He said he was coining the term halo last week, which is heavy asset, low obsolescence. So essentially what we were talking about with if you can touch it, if you can feel it, AI can't disrupt it, more or less. That's the thought process. But it seems like JP Morgan just straight out coming up, taking that from him this morning with this whole note on quote unquote halo market and the halo market that we're going to be in going forward here. So I thought that was kind of funny. Palantir, back to Friday's lows, or bounced off it early on this morning from the pre-market back on Friday and then Thursday as well. We were down around that 128, 127. As you and I were just saying, kind of strange headlines on this morning.
Yeah, it's Palantir. It's going to be strange headlines sometimes. I want to mention here, they have an extension of the contract with Airbus. You can find a little bit more about that here on our morning note at Trader TV Live. But I want to mention here this Michael Burry post from yesterday. I'm not going to read the whole thing because certain terms I'm not sure how those will fly here on YouTube. But basically, he posted this old article from 2024. A report suggesting that Palantir hired a marketing agency for an influencer campaign to counter criticism of the company's business practice, specifically with regards to the National Health Service in the United Kingdom. So he's saying that anyone who has real evidence that Palantir has continued these smear campaigns should contact him. So he believes these smear campaigns are apparently still happening. We know previously he shared that chart suggesting that he thinks there could be more than 50% decline in the stock. So it looks like he's got the technical catalyst and he's trying to continue to build a fundamental case against Palantir as well.
We're still, well off the highs. If that is the case, another, 50% more on top of this. You're talking a pretty ugly looking daily chart at that point, guys. This, however, still, theoretically can be constructive at some point.
Yeah, let's just stay away from whatever. Like that, the Burry headline, that is what it is. And only if people are interested in that, they can dig as deep as they would like. But Palantir, I wanted to go to, and we go back from a weekly to the daily chart for a quick little second there. I talked about, can it actually do what we just saw with ServiceNow, where you held the low and then broke out? Well, there isn't an indication yet on Palantir. Like on the daily, you did lose the support. It's only theoretical support. Like you only bounced one time off 129. Let's be real. So it's not like it's a gigantic level, but we did effectively triple bottom underneath here. There was like a late afternoon dump if you go back to the beginning of the month on the 5th, but then double bottom here at 126 Thursday and Friday, and on heavy selling. I might add to you on Thursday. The problem here is you're not breaking out above 134. Prior support, dump, resistance. And you're pretty far away from it too. So you've got a bit of a flat bottom break engaging here in Palantir. Now 26 would have to go for that to be the case. Like obviously we're $3 ahead of it. It hasn't really closed, hasn't really gone anywhere down there this morning. If you lose 126, close under on the 15-minute, this looks like a bit of a flat bottom short. It doesn't really matter what Michael Burry thinks. Support is support, and when it is gone, now I can actually go to a weekly chart to get a better idea. And when and if it is actually gone, you do have on the weekly $120. That's a pretty solid and important level here on PLTR. So if we lose that 126 today, this week, I think the 120 level is some implicit support. I like resistance turning into support. I think that's where it could get to if we lose that level.
A contract or anything like that doesn't really matter for Palantir right now. As you know, we mentioned last week, JP Morgan's mentioning it, Josh Brown's mentioning it there, that halo effect. And honestly, like, that's what I believe as well. I mean, this is why I was literally talking about this last Tuesday, Wednesday, about these names that continue to work and names that don't. Palantir's not a buy for forever. It needs to start to turn around. It's not going to do that right now, I don't think. I don't think there is a bottom. I think this is the pocket that you're looking for, man. $90, between $90 and $100. I still think there's at least 30% more drawdown in this name. I mean, until this market turns itself around, Palantir's not going to get going. You can announce as many contracts as you want. Right now, it's not in the right space and continues to go lower. I'll probably buy. Probably. I mean, I don't know what I'll do, but if we come down into 90 or $100, I think that's sort of the pocket right here. Look, I mean, many names are below or at their tariff levels. We're not even not great. Palantir continues to not work, and I don't think it's going to work for. Let it settle, man. I mean, it's not. There's still downside. Obviously, you had a nice couple of days there on rebound, maybe one day, and now it's just right back down and looking to break through 125. And I think it gets worse, man, before it gets any better. So yeah, for me, Palantir down here to a 90 or $100. You got to see Microsoft turn around, man. And until Microsoft stays down here, all of these names are. Microsoft needs to start to battle back. A name like, Meta has battled back a little bit, but until Microsoft, I don't even necessarily want to throw Amazon in there because that's kind of a recent addition to the tank. But yeah, like, people aren't buying right now. Anything that has to do with software. We've seen the IGV continue to get beat up as well, right? This is the tech software basket, and that's just been horrible. So, you're going to have to see, and yeah, Palantir got to bounce as well. But you're going to have to wait for this to sort of really start to settle down before any of these names get going. So I'd rather buy on the way up than catch on the way down. So for me, all these names and Palantir, front of the line. And I'm a huge Palantir bull, but this one is for sure working through some things right now. So congratulations to the shorts and patience to the longs. I have patient hands, and I thought it was bad to get out of some at 175, but now it's looking like it was a decent call for sure. So Palantir downside for a little bit longer, I would think.
All right, let's continue along here. Energy stocks continue to perform pretty much everything else, or a lot of the rest of the market here. A huge breakout. This is just the ETF XLE. You can bring up any of these individual names. They're going to look very similar. CDX, almost identical. XOM, a little bit of a pullback right now, the past 2 days here in a row. Back to the downside. This thing has a long room to go back to the downside, however, but got to go where the strength is in this market right now. It's these.
Yeah, I want to talk here, though, about some of the Iran stuff. I think it is relevant here. We did have comments roughly 20 minutes ago now from an individual with Iran. That would be Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, basically saying that Tehran and Washington have reached an understanding on some core principles during their Geneva talks, saying that, quote, they had serious constructive talks with the U.S. We also heard Wall Street Journal reporting probably around 7 a.m. today that there is some kind of, nuclear consensus or willingness here from Iran. It just might not be what Trump necessarily wants. Keep an eye as well here potentially as we have these oil and energy plays on watch. With these cruise lines and airlines as well, because we know sometimes as we get ebbs and flows in the oil and energy names, these companies that rely on oil and energy will kind of move
a couple things just real quick. Figma, downside in a huge way since the IPO, getting absolutely crushed. Announcing a deal with Anthropic to turn AI-generated code into editable designs. So maybe something for Figma. This thing's been a disaster. Another one that's gotten hit on the software side of things. Now, back higher here this morning as well. ServiceNow executives canceling a planned stock sale, according to CEO. The CEO plans to buy $3 million worth of shares as well. So a couple things trying to move back higher here, but now has just been absolutely crushed in the past couple of months, guys.
Yeah, Figma, yuck. If there's, and there's probably a few charts like this, but I almost feel like Figma exemplifies for the more than any individual name. But when it's this bad, I wish there was more volume on this, because when it's this bad, if you look at how well it's held the line down here at like 21 bucks, there is a place, there's no question there's a lot of room for it to go. Even like a small gap fill off this higher low could get you 10% into 25. But like, not a lot of fall through volume there, unfortunately, for Figma on that headline. You like those partnerships, but man, that's just such a bad beat for anyone that got caught in that IPO high. The thing about IPOs, you have to remember that historically, a lot of these names, like the best time to buy it isn't on their first birthday. Like famously, like Facebook couldn't even hold it on the first day, or barely held it on the first day, and it was like shortly, I think within like probably even the second day, and for the first week it was trading in the red, and famously made some lows. But sometimes that's just how it is for IPOs as they mature. When it comes back to energy for a second, CVX here, I would tend to think some of these headlines that we're getting out of Iran, I don't know if we're going to get anything which is groundbreaking and more than framework this and speculation that. But if we do get a pullback or a sharp pullback in oil or any of the energy names, I think that's an opportunity. Like I look at CVX, and ever since the Venezuela headline, like this pop was Venezuela, and it pulled back in, and there's your higher low, and supporting that trend. You break this trend, instead of thinking short, I almost think that's a buying opportunity. So if CVX breaks the trend, I think it's an add into the low 170s. I'm not saying this headline is going to get us there, or the weakness in oil this morning is reflective of that. That's where my head is at with some of the energy plays. I don't think this is done being a good year for them. And if there is a dip, that's a dip that I'd look to buy. I mean, I own CVX and just throwing that one out there. But the trend line is intact. That would hold 181 today if it were to test.
Yeah, look, for me, I mean, we just recently bought some more XLE, and we talked about it breaking through this $50 mark. So, this is just a weekly chart. So you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like great extensions here on the weekly chart. So this one, this XLE holds CVX, XOM, like all the major U.S. producers and everybody involved in energy. Not everybody, but most of the large holders or large players involved with XLE. So also pays a dividend. So for me, this gets you them all. It has been an absolute darling of a trade. And I think obviously today, as oil is starting to come a little bit to the downside, we could see some XLE pressure. So I would look short today for oil on the back of this Iran news. But I don't really think it's a huge market mover at all. But the Nasdaq's trying to hold out here as well. So as oil makes a move down, Nasdaq makes a little bit of a move up. So let's wait to see if there's some plays coming through. And XOM, of course, at that 150 mark. So if you're going to do anything, shorting 150 is an easy area, and you can get out of it if it breaks higher. So into the imbalances today, we can have a quick little look to see if there is anything. Both of these names are obviously U.S. Listed and New York listed. So there's J&J with a quick sell off today. If this goes down significantly, or even if this can pull back 10%, I'm a buyer of J&J like crazy. It's not even close to doing that right now. Look at this, boom. Huge move up. Love some Jake Johnson. Have that in the account as well. But yeah, nothing on here. Just Uber with a small little buy. And I don't see any major energy name right here as I just sort of scan down. There's silver with a small sell as well off the open. But I don't see much in the way of energy here now. So we'll take our look at that once it comes open. But for right now, nothing on the imbalance locator. It's 8 minutes. Get excited, guys. It's Tuesday.
All right, let's talk Apple. A couple things to note here. 2 days in a row. First of all, pretty ugly for Apple to the downside. We are trying to bounce here this morning a little bit. Pre-market, there's this Apple podcast now going to feature more video features in general on the app, trying to take on Netflix, trying to take on YouTube, specifically in this podcast industry. There's also Webb Bush coming out once again this morning, pounding the table on, don't worry, Apple AI is finally coming. Don't worry, it's coming.
This Webb Bush was hilarious. I'm sorry, I have to say it, because it's really nothing that we didn't already know or possibly think. And I'm not trying to be the meeting here, but if I read you guys this note, which I will, you'll kind of see what I mean. So they're basically saying here that Apple is expected to finally enter the AI market this year. Fact we already knew, due to its Google Gemini partnership and new AI leadership, which we also already knew. They said that they believe the sell-off that Brendan just mentioned here in Apple is quote overblown, and big AI could be adding roughly $75 to $100 of value over the next few years. I think this revamped Siri rollout is going to be a big touchstone for the company. We'll have to wait and see if that is the case, but we don't have to wait too long to see what the special experience is coming through on March 4th. Notably, company not calling it an event, naming it an experience. Apparently, reports from Mac Rumors suggest they could be unveiling products at the iPhone 17e, MacBook Pro with new M5 chips, some new generations of iPad Air. So we're going to have to wait and see. But that event, of course, if it is live, I will cover for you.
A little bit of a positive attempt here, I guess is a good term for it this morning, guys. What do we do here with Apple?
Well, it was a frustrating one because all morning long, Apple off that G1 just wasn't giving you more than like a scalp trade. It was inside. It was an inside move kind of day, giving you about $1 back and forth. And then right at the end of the session, it just fell off with an absolute cliff in a 255. So like the short on Apple.
Oh, that's an easy short. Huh?
Yeah, it was right at about it was right after 3 o'clock, right in the rush hour. Into power hour, and when it just absolutely fell apart. So knowing that, I do think I want continuation, that the Open was a complete chop fest. So I feel like for Apple, let it do its thing. If it gets back into 259, 260 where we liked it on Friday, okay, great. Like let's play it there. But if I see this nonsense where it just puts a shelf in all day long, and then we break that shelf, that's got to be a bit of a look. Like when we see it drop the last 2 days the way that it has, obviously Friday wasn't as bad as Thursday. Thursday one of the worst days it's had, but it's still a continuation play for me on Apple. So yeah, the 59.60 where we liked it on Friday is going to be in play. It's not going to make the list because ultimately I don't think we're all that close to the level. But if I see a flat bottom break happening in the second half of the day, you got to be on at least looking for some of the weak names. I feel as if when we talk about the Mag 7, most of the negativity has been focused on Amazon for its record, 9 days in a row to the downside. But Apple's starting to pull back pretty good too, and maybe it wants to retest some key support down here. So I'll look for some continuation, but I'll have to wait for it to get to that 260.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to be a little more aggressive. I think there is a long here in Apple, and I was actually thinking about breaking this like 258 area. We can break that right there. And it was, as I was saying, looked like a pretty easy short there when you break the low of the day. I mean, I think you have been looking short there with the market going downside as well. So that break is 258.20s or 258.30s, I guess. If you want to go a little higher, 258.70. So that's right there. Like that's 258.10. If we can break back above that, then I do think you can get to 260, and then you'd be $2 in the money, and then you decide about it then. So I'm actually looking for the long here in Apple with the market down today and Apple up. So I think I don't even understand what this move is all about. I mean, we have the stories, but that seems to be a little too aggressive there to the downside. And I feel like we have found some support in this area. I don't know if we have or not, but it looks like potentially there could be support here for Apple. So I'm looking long on this, and I still like Google longer at 300, which is there right now for Google. So I don't know, man. This name, whoosh, on the downside there, as we just get NASDAQ to come in. Rivian with a big sell, man. Rivian is done. Anybody that was long Rivian, you really had an eat, like, it should have sold there, man. It came all the way back up for Rivian. Like, you get Rivian up 30%, man, you sell that stuff. Like it's not no tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you so much, Rivian Randy. Speak of the devil. All right, but ZSL downside or upside, that's a downside.
Could we make it back to the top up here? Surprisingly, could we? Could we?
What a crazy stuff that was $30 last week. Okay, Jay.
Well, let's see.
Big one here that's surprising is Rivian. SCHD is just a market ETF. I believe, U.S. dividend equity, so we're not worried about that. But right now, there's Rivian with the biggest of big moves here so far. Biggest of big imbalances. The move doesn't seem to be right. But yeah, if Apple can get above 258, we'll look for long there on AAPL. But it's not my early look. I still think the market goes down.
Real quick, Meta, back to green here, just in the past couple of moments, going red to green on the morning. Nothing significant as far as the headlines are concerned for Meta today. This thing's also been in a couple of days worth of a pullback here, not as bad as some of the other big tech names. 17%, I believe, off the highs right now for Meta. It's interesting, just going back to that OpenClaw story we were talking about earlier. On a podcast I was watching with the guy who created OpenClaw, he was actually mentioning Meta and Zuckerberg alongside OpenAI, saying either of those would be quote unquote ideal places for him to end up. So maybe Meta's loss once again on the AI front.
Yeah, it's an interesting look for sure, especially knowing that OpenAI, Sam Altman is very much clearly viewed himself as in direct competition with Mark Zuckerberg and co. I want to talk here, though, a couple different stories on Watch. On Monday, company, I guess, responded to a lawsuit brought by the New Mexico Attorney General with regards to AI or harmful content, I guess, towards minors involving AI. Then Spain also apparently be probing X, Meta, and TikTok over AI-generated content involving, I guess, inappropriate stuff in children, for lack of a better term. So MET, I guess, getting some more investigations with that regard.
Yeah, NASDAQ, I mean, overall, guys, still relatively weak here to start the week off. Good luck today.
Before we go for that, I mean, I guess all we have to do is mention Apple alone. And Apple just went up $1.50. Like, no reason, nothing on the imbalance locator. So right now, that was a trade that I have scheduled to go, and it just broke 258. So we miss that bid right now as Apple just goes up. And remember, it was just up 0.2. We talked about liking it, and all of a sudden, boom. So there you go. Always be thankful. Says that was him that created that. So good job right there. Huge move to the upside as we go for Apple. So, maybe next time we'll keep our opinions to ourselves and get a better price. But there goes Apple. Yeah, Meta's cooked with only 15 seconds left.
Only 15 seconds to go. And shout out to Miguel. Thank you for the super chat. So greetings from Long Beach. Let's get this money. Hopefully the weather is nice there. We're looking for the first open on a holiday short week. It is Tuesday, almost said Monday. Let's ring that opening bell. NVIDIA.
Amazon downside, man. 2 for 2 to ring the register right there. We'll see if we can find you. But no promises right here. I'm actually, if the market's going to rip up, I'm not sure we even need to be in Amazon. So we're going to be out of this one down there. I took some out for flat as well. It's basically Apple is what we're waiting for here. So we'll see if that can get going. Sit on our hands a little bit with AAPL and see if it can climb higher. We're out at 50% of that trade.
And good look for Apple over there. We're going to get into Intel and iBit to the south side, and a third. If we take out the high, we're going to jump out of that one. But this and iBit, we are looking to play into sell side. NVIDIA is not really moving too much. Doesn't seem like that's going to be too much of a play. And then I said to you guys, Netflix, very briefly, huge bottom tail candle on Netflix. Try to grab it back on the way through that low. We're now above VWAP and looking like a potential breakout can hold above the volume weighted average price. Netflix green for a change. We're welcome on Netflix. Probably going to have eyeballs on WBD, but thing about that is it's trading way too inside that $3 bid unless we actually get a higher bid. I think that might be a little bit tricky to play, but Netflix is a good bounce here so far. So good. Unfilled in iBit just yet. It keeps going 2 cents away and not actually filling the offer.
All right, $4 now in the money over here on Apple. So yeah, we're just letting it go, like Elsa. We'll let this one go and we'll see what winds up happening right there. And what we're letting go as well is this play. See ya, Amazon. It looks like the market does want to just climb to the high side right now, and we're more than happy to watch that happen. As we'll give back probably, well, who knows where Apple's going to settle. I mean, we just dropped the dollar right there. But for now, we'll give back about 15% or so of this Apple. Let me get another piece here in the 40s. Oh, it's actually dropping out quite nicely here right now. There goes Amazon too. Amazon might have ticked me out, and that can happen to us. So that's maybe what just happened there in Amazon. Out there on the highs of AMZN, but we'll get out of that one and then just hold on to the winners, right? I mean, this is something that I think you got to get a little bit better at doing, is holding on to winners just a little bit longer. Right there. I'm going to post this chart for Apple, and all it did, man, it was always on our radar. It fell right back in, came into the 200 period moving average, and then just popped higher, right? I mean, I had sort of championed along there, and glad that it is working out. Man, Amazon tricked me pretty good there. I wanted to get out above 200, and honestly, this little break spot right there for me on Amazon. I mean, I know I know it's where we got stopped out. It could still come right back up. I'm just letting you guys know this is where we did stop. Of course, it comes back in and prints down here. Yeah, but we were talking about 48.50. So, I mean, you've ticked out to that. I just don't think I want to go short right now while still long on this Apple. This has burned me in the past when I did 5. Let's see if we can get something there. It seems like there it is. Wow. There it goes, man. This is the hot dog kind of trading happening right now today. So I'm on the long right here. Neil's got the short. I like the Intel at $46. We were talking about that one near that $50 mark. So that's
It was at 50 every day except for Friday was the only day that it didn't test that 50 level. Looking relatively weak. I've been starting to come back in a little bit here. Intel still. I got to go over to Netflix for a quick little second here. Netflix is closing above that volume weighted average price that I was talking about. So there's the confirmation that we're going to hold. The high is 78.10. So I want inventory or long into the 78.10 level if we're able to grab it here. So I'm gonna hop on the bid, try to give it to this prior bar, which is about 77.30. Again, maybe a bit of a seed change here for it. I almost said NVIDIA one more time for Netflix. So we're gonna be long in that bad boy. But let's keep in mind, at any moment on Netflix, there could be some kind of a response. Like you could hear in the middle of the day or at some point tomorrow, there's a 7-day process for them to consider the Skydance bill. That's Warner Brothers Discovery. If for some reason Netflix ups their bid or has a response, this is one where you got to keep your ear to the ground. I'm trading with stops on Netflix at all times. So my stop right now is at 77, about 30 or so. But want that high of day if we can grab it. But Intel's trying to press. It's trying to press back to that initial support, 46.5. If that jumps through, then we'll go 0 for 1 on that one. IBIT still working toward the low. Looking for the low this morning at about 38.4 for the next out, then try to hold it. The market's blasting. Bitcoin's not going with it. I feel like this is a bit of a broken record, but for whatever reason, this ain't participating. It's the same thing as we were seeing outside of Friday. But like the short here, we just broke low enough.
I take it right now. Sorry, that's Apple. Apple right now is just Rip City, man. I mean, they're at the highs. Let's go. Congratulations to Apple right there. But we're going to wait and see what happens with Amazon. I mean, we'll just go short up here. I covered too many there. I covered them all by accident. So now we just got right back in. So that's why we see a lot of ticks right there for Amazon. Hoping, again, that we can get a downside from here. And if not, I mean, we're looking to break through 200. We could take it right now, but I'm not trying to just take 20 cents. Let's see if we can get a little bit more on Amazon to that downside. As right now, Apple, we just look at Nether out there at 259.50. So, really happy with the way this one starting to pair out for us just a bit. And there goes Amazon, man. We're right back in it. We don't stop. We don't stop around here, man. We just keep on going. You got to give your trades a little bit of room and try to stick with them if you can. And there it goes right now. So we're going to go now 2 for 2 on the symbols that we have. And let's just wait to see if hopefully now, there it is, man. Big day alert over here, man. Big day alert as Apple booming to the upside right now at 350. And there goes Amazon. Neil, it's another one, man. Come to the club over here, Neil. It is now in and the water is at end. So we didn't give up on it. We got right back into it. And there,
but that just tagged low as well. Only next target is pretty obvious, 37.9. This is where we bounced on Friday. We couldn't get anything better than that on the short on Friday until it got to the afternoon where we got a couple of trades in there. But we just got back in on Intel, INTC. I'm like, I keep typing in the wrong symbol. No, we just got top wick, instantly came right back underneath and retested almost to the volume weighted average price. Why 185 zone on NVIDIA? Take a shot at it. It's looking very, very constructive. The market going.
Why did I take this trade?
Not really moving.
Because I'm a dumbass and I should have fucking waited to either my price
retest that 1660. I kind of have the trend trade that we have.
or
There's the trend line. It ended up being right about 1680.
but it didn't get out of the trade.
I can wait for this one to come in.
Oh man, no waiting over here, guys. We have nailed them. These names that I'm trading, and you're trading smaller price names. But there are violent moves, right? I mean, all over the market, no matter what price you're trading. And SMR is a $14 name, and you get $1 on that, like no problem. Yeah, exactly. Or share size, whatever. There's Amazon right now, $199.50. to the short right there, up to 200. Thing is, we did get stopped out at $200.25 the one time. But
I'm
there
a
it goes
target.
right back.
This
Is what we're talking about, right? Like,
let's see, can we get a
what I meant by short term is use
pullback?
the right amount, because like if I used too many there, I would have got absolutely destroyed off Amazon. But then we let it settle down in the first 5 minutes. Wow, Amazon, this is like an absolute train wreck right now to the downsides. It starts to kick up just a little bit, take a little bit more.
I think I want to.
Puking all over itself. Meanwhile, Apple going the complete opposite way. So we have like we nail, like, despite the mark. And by the way, I guess the TQs are probably falling right off that level of 58.50, 48.50. Like, you guys want to talk about the number one trade idea?
Kind of want to.
48.50. That's the high of the day there. So we should have maybe looked at that. But we're really happy with what we've been doing, man. We'll pay for the whole weekend in the first 10 minutes. So, very, very profitable so far there. When you've got $5, $5.50, it's going to make some sense there. So there it is, man. Nice move there. Apple upside, Amazon downside.
And now we're starting to cook.
We do have something that you guys can.
Now we're starting to cook.
You just type in there.
Now we're starting to cook. Now we're starting to cook. Now we're starting to cook. Need it. Hey, what we doing? Come on. Yeah. We're going to start. Yeah.
There's Rhyme. Okay, it's Zim. Yeah, down to $29. AMD and Apple. So these are the top ones. As I can see, everybody now getting involved. So just keep on pushing it in, and then they'll give us something to look at. Oh my, wow! I'm so glad that we're able to get right back into this Amazon, because this one is look at this, Joe. Like, I don't even know what that is right now with Amazon. This is completely. Let's go. Right now, $5.
Let's go.
Unfortunately, we only have about 20% left of this one, but there goes Amazon right there. Now,
let's go.
Now we have a much bigger day going on.
Let's go.
The goal right there.
Yes.
Some of these positions.
Yeah, boy.
If this market wants to fall, we don't need to be in too much of Apple. 15% of Apple, about 50% of Amazon. There it goes, man. What a big move. And we go awful on Apple. Apple's been bad. But we saw the break and we took it, and we didn't even see the break. We saw the break right there at 258. That's what we wanted initially. And then for some reason, right there off the first minute, it got flushy. So Amazon's the one that I'm most proud of, and we should have actually had the futures trade as well. So just a couple ideas right there for you guys. No matter what you're trading, we've got you covered. Bye Amazon.
But this is exactly where and when I bounced last time, right off that 37.8. Bitcoin sits at 67,000, almost exactly. So we got our target area. We're basically shorting into the pre-market high. Intel just got to VWAP, but it's in an uptrend, so I take it out in front of that volume weighted average price and then move on to the next. It's just about finding that opportunity wherever you can, and then find that next trade. I do want to say for everyone, you mentioned
that was a good enough trade for me.
Zim is being bought for $35.
Yeah. I feel good about that trade, but my computer is lagging, so I had to get up out of there, man. Let me refresh the page real quick.
And deal is expected to close by end of the year, but there's significant risk that this deal might not be deal. I wouldn't treat that with the level of certainty. I'm actually looking at a trend break here, if it can do so, but not yet. Zim falling like a rock.
All right, Zim falling like a
rock. Look, I got up out of there. Yeah.
Other names that you guys are talking about.
Let's see. Yeah, I took some off on that. Yeah.
Thank you for your kind shares and your CEOs in there buying shares as well. And I think they got that buyback program on. So let's watch to see what winds up happening with PayPal. Maybe
boom.
A little too following our trades. Good, man. I think you would, probably be up today if you've been doing that. I mean, Apple and Amazon, PayPal, Intel, iBit, all those trades. So, so far so good. But yeah, I don't know where we're going. And the last time when I threw it back to Neil, we were $6 in the money. Now we're almost $8 in the money, as they just keep on getting better for us. So I don't necessarily want to tap out of them all, but we'll take another piece out there on Amazon. As like I said, man, trading here for the family, trading to come in on that one. We do have a nice little dip down I'm just getting lighter on all these positions, guys. So, hopefully we hang up. But hey, look at this, man. Nvidia, whoops. on that huge move, and we did miss.
You got a little 300 off that.
You guys were 50, so I don't know. Did you or Obi look at anything with the futures on Friday, trading it at all?
No, I mean the futures ultimately individually is going to move more than the future, which is always I like the alpha of trying to be in the name that is moving the most. So typically the futures aren't for me, but they too.
I feel good about that trade.
When you get the chance, I just popped into Zim. It broke trend, a huge rejection in that same price range. So I want to scalp out into this candle. It's only about a 1% candle. I'm not thinking VWAP on this play, not the way the sellers are. So forget about the fact that it's 35 in cash. That's going to be irrelevant today. I almost think if it gets to VWAP, it might be a bit of a fade. So that's that one over there. Quickly show you IBIT bouncing. I'll look VWAP or trace. If we get to the bottom weighted average price, then that can be the
So what's that like? I made $1,000 today.
Still not anywhere near that 16 and a half.
I made $1,000.
Mentioning that, and also, man, I mean, I just want to say there was also someone there about as a potential indicator for momentum losing just 60 cents worth of risk to make what we're doing now pretty decent. Have 258, 40. What is that lower right there? 258 40s. Again, so we can go 258 34s or something.
But it came into these levels, which is really interesting. Could we make a move back higher for a little bounce?
We talked about possibly getting stopped out, but then we just let it kind of bounce around there.
I mean, what do we have to lose? Like right in these levels, like why not? Like you, let's see.
These are all profit outs. Wrong, we have no problem getting out almost immediately for small hits. So that's what we're doing. We're holding big winners, taking small hits. Just when you lose, if you take 4 or 5 small hits in a row, that's going to equal like one big winner, right? So you gotta sort of piece out your trades and have a look at them that way.
Well, that's sort of the idea. Like everything is about what are you risking on the trade to try to make. Like I was just giving you an example. Like Zim has moved $1, but I just simply said when this breaks the trend, 29 into this candle, 29, it's like 33. That's like a 30-cent range. Like I said, 1%. So the entirety of the trade to me gets scalped out inside of that range because I think it's relatively weak. Right? So if I'm really in that particular case, I'm risking maximum 10 cents because there's no slippage. That's essentially what it is. Now this could go to VWAP, be twice that. I think it's going to be a tighter range. Speaking of ranges,
by the way, W, and I like that one. I was always wondering about the W, and it's like you were saying with the EIL.
Well, EIL is the correct way. It's the normal way to spell. I never get mad if someone spells that any kind.
No, I like that. I was always wondering. I don't like the SEAN, but that's either here nor there.
But that's like where is it that's the normal? That doesn't really matter.
It's Irish.
It's an Irish thing. So it is what it is.
Irish.
I mean, ultimately, we appreciate you guys. Just wanted to point out NVIDIA taking a low of the day at 180. Looks like we're not going to see 185. But that's the other part of it. You might not get. Sometimes you never get to the price that you're looking to short into. You broke the pre-market high, like you broke out above prior day lows. You didn't get to that 185 zone, unfortunately, and never see a bounce in IBIT. It's entirely possible the way this market's going, although it is still trying to catch a bid. I always think the VWAP on a retracement here, that's what it's always going to be about for me until proven otherwise. But there's one other place to go if you're looking for crypto weakness. BMNR, Amelie owns 3% of ETH, and they don't like it right now. That's back underneath $20. Just if I don't see Bitcoin get to VWAP, my backup play is sometimes the bounces are bigger in BMNR, and obviously this is true in either direction. We'll go farther to the downside as well. If we get any kind of a bounce where we don't get VWAP, I might look at on IBIT. I might look for it in BMNR. ETH is down around 19.5 currently, so it's not looking very good for them. But we do have to pay for locates of real trading of being.
Yeah, we can go over. Let's check out Rhyme. And this was a name that we talked about earlier on today. It looks like it got halted. Looks like you're getting everything back here on Rhyme. Oh yeah, there it is right here. This is our halt scanner coming through. So you can see your GMM. Oh, OBAI was halted as well. So OBAI. We can have a quick little look over there. Oh, reopen. Now, 954. Halt and then reopen. Maybe that's the reopen time. Yeah, there it is right there. So
I mean, and it's just tanking. Like, it's just really tanking right now. Like, it's just going.
Quickly, so that's stop right there for OBAI, and then a halt, and then a reopen. So that's downside. I don't know what GMM is. We can have a quick little look here as well. GMMM. And there we go again. So there you go. Yo, what's up, Sid? Again, thank you so much. And thank you so much for all the kind comments here this morning. I mean, I honestly say, I was even telling people on Friday, they're like, oh, yeah, you're not at work. I was like, man, I absolutely love going into work. But, you know, nothing beats spending time with the family. So that's what we're doing there. But, yeah, GMM, there it is, man, 35. Oh, and this is what I was, thank you so much. That's what we're talking about. So sirens up for that. I've always stopped. I have stopped over trading, as saying. And only take 1 or 2 trades. Good job, you as well. Thank you for preaching discipline. Hey, man, I think that's honestly the best thing that I talk about is discipline. And we're doing great now. What a successful February for sure, considering what the markets are doing. You know, really happy with the way that's happening for this month. You can see right there, there's our out. So, you know, now we have less, now 5% left. Actually, I got out a little bit more there. So 5% left of Apple, and we've down to about 5% left of Amazon as well. So, oh, that's right at that level. And potentially reversing, right? I mean, we talked about it. You guys, I forget who you were in the chat. You talked about the Lambo trade on the TQQs. Yeah, maybe you're finally top. We had 48.50. Next time, we're just going to take it regardless of what we think has happening. But that was a good trade there, all the way down to 46.50. Oh boy, if we had a monster day, if we just had that trade on, but still we've got some good ones there. Looks like Amazon now starting to kick out just a little bit, so we take out a little bit more here on it. Let's just put them all at 198.50. Okay, if it breaks through 198.50, we can get out of Amazon.
Okay, let's look at some levels. We got the $500 level. Let's see if we was to buy right here and try to swing it back to these levels.
It's going to.
We'll never know how low it will go.
Man, I feel so bad about missing that Q short, but glad some of you guys.
Yeah, housing market index. I'm not sure that's going to be too big of a mover, but we'll keep our ear to the ground. We'll go to a Darren in just a quick little second. That last bounce in the market, or at least in IBIT, got us almost nowhere. So we got a third of the way into the VWAP, but not going to reload this trade until we get a solid setup. Not going to try to short these lows, especially with the number coming up, which we're going to go right now to Adara for happening now, and said economic number, like they were number today.
15 seconds, no 10 seconds for the enemies to have in the sprint. Forecast 38, previous 37. We also have some Canadian CPI data starting out a little bit earlier today, 2.3%, the low estimate is 2.4%. NASP housing market here on index, we got 36, well, the forecast is 38, and the previous 37. So lower than expected NASP housing market index print the market. Not reacting too much to this, as Neil mentioned, this is not usually an asset market being print. One to mention to you guys on the last now, as we get the market started again, crypto also remains on watch. We're in the zero weighing price targets for both MSCR and Coinbase, cutting its price target in both on Coinbase a little bit more negative.
These are using other brokerage charts to trade options contracts. And
as of late, has been this software.
now, for example's sake, let's say we trade on
I
average
mentioned
500
earlier,
options
CRM and
contracts per
ServiceNow.
month. Fees are
Trends, but
Look,
straight
when trading options contracts, fees matter to our bottom line.
ServiceNow
The public is revolutionizing
stock sales.
There's something
CEO
deeply
planning
up
a $4 million
videos of
purchase.
girls
I was
dancing.
looking at another theme that we kind of got today, and that's going to be reports of activist investment. Pfizer got launched at ISB after Wall Street Journal reported that Jana Partners is building a stake in the company, and CLH also here on one of the Wall Street Journal report suggesting that Elliott Management is trying to get involved in this one. So activist investment very much a theme today, alongside these ongoing themes of crypto and also, of course, this software type story. We're going to send you back over to Neil.
Yes, sir. And I want to give a big shout out to everyone that's been working on the Trade TV Live Academy. We've talked about it. It is finally coming, everybody. So buckle up, because in just 7 days, we will be releasing the Trade TV Academy, which is something which we're incredibly proud of. We've been trading with Real Trading for quite some time. The manner in which we learned, the skills that we were able to develop, the ability to utilize the platform to execute our plans. These are all things that are going to be shown in the Trade TV Live Academy. Just giving you a sneak peek of what it might look like with some of the modules that are out there. So make sure you keep your ear to the ground. There'll be more details coming out, but finally, 7 days. The countdown is on, everybody. So get excited. The next hour of the show, you'll keep seeing it up there. Brought to you by Trade TV Live. It's something that's near and dear to day. Trading is not easy. It's a journey, and it's something that we in a bear market.
The tapes of Jeffrey Epstein.
By more close to a bear market, individual names are down more than 10%. The futures, well, the overall market itself, not even close to a bear market on SPY. That doesn't mean that we aren't heading to the downside. Doesn't mean that we're not in a downtrend. But individually, you'll find many stocks which have pulled back. But you're just not anywhere near bear territory just yet. Like if you look at individual names like a Palantir or something like that, sure, of course, it is from the highs. Like it's been not chopped in half, but pretty darn close to it. So Bitcoin is still trying to bounce along with the overall market. So get back in, and what I'm sort of thinking here is 38.2 is the bottom weighted average price. That does give us Friday's opening range bottom as well. So that's where I want to be able to play it here on IVA. That's the first place I'm looking for to be engaged short. Intel's a little bit farther away from VWAP, so I'm not sure we'll be able to get it. But just be patient and waiting for that next trade, waiting for that next opportunity. So far, so good this morning. One mean reversion and one good short. You know, the one short made up for the two losses, and the mean reversion could be a chance to go through the short to do that.
Referencing teens. But other videos are just strange. For example, you got this.
No problem. We have some chat from BizBot. I used your level on the T2 to buy puts. So for a huge win. Thank you so much. The show is making a mega difference in your life. Congratulations over there. And we're glad to see it over there, BizBot.
Yeah, great job, BizBot. Glad to be here for you there as well. I thought we had Mike issue, but just on YouTube there. So thank you so much, BizBot. Very, very kind of you for your super chat and for acknowledging that one. And yeah, huge man. I mean, like we said, man, we go back to the season all the time here. That was just something that I should have honestly taken, but I mean, they're calling me talking about. If you guys are just joining us for the first time, go over, find me. And I say whatever, man. We talk about this all the time. Go get it. This is why it's free. Actually, I don't know where I put it. It was the sticky note. I'll find out what it is for you guys in a minute. So you just have a quick look here. You can see this is what we're talking about. The two Ps at 48.50, right? Just a negative feel to the market early here. We talked about that 47.50, but that was written down before. So you go, I'll put this in the side, you guys can go have a look. We wrote that down around, before 8 o'clock. And we were very, very nervous about that level because that's kind of where we opened up at. Today, right? So we've talked about it, maybe a week mark. We'll go there. If you're in the chat, go find the note. There's 48.50 right there. And how did you find it? I mean, it was just from Thursdays, Fridays. I wasn't here Friday. Fridays levels. Right there, 48.50. A nice little move there as well. So here we go. Sir Peroto coming up with something here. With China close, does a thin volume of commodity scale liquidity vacuum? I do not believe so. That actually spends mostly for day traders or just aimless dip. I think aimless dip because we've seen Chinese New Year and everything. The market closes for a very long time all the time. So we've seen this happen before. And I guess individual names maybe might slow down. Maybe like an Alibaba or something like that. But so many of these stories are U.S. based. Right? We have the U.S. Iran deal right now. Obviously, if we're talking about potential news coming out of China, maybe that might be a little slower when we're talking about time off and not just close. But we could see how that is still 2 million shares daily volume, and then try to figure it out from there to see if there's some lesser trading. But yeah, I could see that. But the thing is that recently we're going to the downside. So maybe less liquidity of some of these Chinese nationals pushing down U.S. firms might be better for the market right now. But for me, it's kind of just an easy thing. So we did get out of Amazon right there. Breaking there, we were able to get another one at 198, so that's going to be
no, not a buy limit.
It's 10:07 already.
There is a story here in Amazon, though it's certainly not a massive one. I just want to let you guys know AWS, so Amazon Web Services, announcing an up to $100 million value here of federal credit.
Put a sales stop right in this area.
Obviously, up to $100 million. That's not going to be a massive.
To it. So we're going to play this one back into VWAP. Try to hold a little bit for a break of the volume weighted average price. But the way I got to look at this is break out through VWAP and at least get in 17.6. We close it out of getting into the volume weighted average price. So it doesn't mean automatic. I'm just going to sit there. There has to be an entry at that price level. At the open, it was a fail the pre-market high, and then right back underneath. So it's like short the bottom tail candle, short underneath there, give it to that prior stop. Has to be an entry that sets up, not just a line on the chart. 4 you're not.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bob, for that, man. And I'm so glad that you're able to do that. So congratulations as you ride the bull there off that first minute low for Apple. I mean, for me, I was already watching it. We already had a trigger in there. Thank you so much for that. We already had a trigger in there to go long if it broke 258. That was happening in the pre-market. It was breaking 258. So that trigger, we canceled that because I didn't want to get long immediately. And then in the first couple of minutes, it was all of a sudden just dipping down. I was like, I'll take some more. Because we had our outs and we were pretty confident with what Apple was planning on doing here today, to the point where we're going to get some more out right now at 70s. And really, man, I don't know. We just gonna sit in this. Oh no, what? This trade was a big one there from, because it never went in gains. Like it just automatically shot up, and we had no choice but right away to take $1. Like our stop was only 50 cents, and our working out. We are now live apparently again on TikTok. So shout out to everybody that's over there on TikTok. Tell my kids to get over there, although they should be at school right now. It's 10:10. All right, so DraftKings. All right, so we're waiting actually to get a little bit more out of Apple. I just put an offer in the 70s right here. Hopefully we can get back up. That's been the high. So I'm actually right here at 73. Maybe we can get a little bit closer to that. You know, let's just put an offer right here. What the hell? All right, 259.40. We'll just put an offer right there and get some out just in case it drops. We only have 5% left, so it's no big deal. And we already got half of our trade. We had 10% there. We got half of it out when that came through, and then another half basically at 259 and 259 quarters, and then again right now. So far so good on that. I think Apple will take out these highs, and we may even think about going long at 260 on Apple if. Again, you know, there it is. Yes, Apple. Oh my, there it goes, man. Up through the highs right now. We just got 259.80 on Apple. DraftKings, though, we got out of this one, and we talked about it live on the show up here when it was sort of barcoding like this, and there goes the downside. I really like DraftKings, but I do obviously understand that there's some problems with that business, and continues to break lower there. DKNG, not great, and also Robinhood. You know, getting smacked. It was earlier, and yeah, it is today as well, down to $73 right now. Sorry about Robinhood. That's down another 3%. To check in on SoFi here, that's probably making new lows. Let's do a quick little look. I mean, I know Darren's going to come with sector watch in a couple minutes, but we should, or small cap recap or something to watch. Let's just have a quick look to see, like, you know, the broader market and what exactly is happening. If Google can get we'll get some of that in our account and just eat those shares up, because we really like Google if you continue to move lower. Great call by Adara. Boom. Right there. Oracle still down another. Here we have something for that. Another 5% downside there for Oracle as that continues to bleed, man. AMD stuck 5 today. The financials, good. I mean, this is what's sort of holding up. I mean, the end. NASDAQ is down, as is the ES, but at least you're getting some kind of strength right now in the financials, and led by the biggest and the baddest of them all, JP Morgan, right now up 1.37%. So that's definitely helping out some of these markets for sure. Today, bad, which is good for me, is I want to get into that. I'm not even in this space other than XLI, which is not an individual name. The Lam, Caterpillar, all these names continue to get hit today. Hopefully, they will start to come down, and your boy can get some of that. Tesla, you know, another name that, hey, man, I like this stock a lot, but the market says, and that's downside as well today. Tesla down 4% as well. There, you know, just looking, it looks like the healthcare technology. I mean, it's part of the reason why we did take some Eli Lilly, you know, just to diversify there as well. Okay, it just broke 224, sorry, upside. So yeah, it might be looking like a. Let's see, can we get a push back up? Rather than tech, because today doing a bit. And I'll throw back to you. I just want to see what Microsoft is. I didn't see it on the board there. It's only down 1%, but still down and underneath that $400 mark. So yeah, man, not much going on here in the broader markets other than sell-off and the financials trying to hold forward, basically down 0.68 right now in the ES helpful.
Wait, Amazon's actually closer to green than half of most of the Mag 7 names. But we've only taken 2 mean reversion trades today. One of them, Zim's going to work out. Rivian's not. See it break the prior bar. This is always have a strategy. Well, I mean, it's up to you. You can do you. But I always tend to have a strategy, and that includes execution. Trend break, prior bar, not low a day. So that's
Holds.
out low a day. When we stop out at the prior bar, same thing. Dollars briefly to get to about 2010. So shorted that other candle, very similar to the entry on Bitcoin up here, where it does a topping tail, and then you short back in to the next pop, and then look for the drop downside. If I had done this kind of a move, I probably would have shorted this one. But BMNR coming in as Tom Lee's favorite. Well, maybe it's not his favorite. I have no idea. As the Tom Lee vehicle down 5%, looking for low of the day to scalp from out, and then I zoom out to the 15-minute and show you there's not a heck of a lot. 19.5 was the support level on Thursday in the afternoon. That would be the target out for me on this play. So short underneath VWAP here on BMNR. Let's see if the market has any pep in its step. Oh, speaking of which, we went over some of the chip names. Watch out for AMD here. If this one continues downside any further, like another leg down, that 190 was a pretty big turnaround for AMD. And
boom! Another one. And another one.
Palantir didn't even test that.
And another one.
I think if you're looking for some kind of a rebound trade in tech, Palantir is a bit of a standout. If anything, this might actually break out here on PLTR. Bucking.
Now through 260, almost 5 in the money here. This is going to be for me pretty much the whole day, right? I mean, we do have on the tag Actuator TV Live and Actuator TV Research. Make sure you guys go over there, follow the Actuator TV Research page. Shout out to Adara for doing posts to that page as well. But there it goes. I'll tag TV over there. But it takes, I mean, there it is, man. We said we might go longer at 260, should have right there, but there it goes, man. Huge move back there to the upside for Apple. Watch out for Bitcoin and IBIT as that's trying to make some moves. Yeah, I really thought Rivian was going to continue downside. I mean, we even said earlier on today that Rivian's home is probably in this exact area right where it is right now. So, I don't know if I want to go long into here, but we had called this area for Rivian today, so my bad. Like, we should have shorted up into that, but that's a pre-market dark pools, and I don't really look at that. So I think if anything, the real short would have been either at the 200 period of 1740 right there, or you can use obviously Friday's closing price, but you went to dot there. Oh man, these futures. Okay, we'll just have to regroup off of that. Make sure you guys, if you guys are in the TikTok chat, Fabian wants me to remind you guys to make sure you're using TikTok and get in the chat. You can ask us some questions into there, and we'll try to post them up on here as well. So we are now back for you on TikTok. So go find that right now. And wow. What a banger. This is now 550 now in the money here for Apple. Is it just what is this stock is really on one, man. There, take another fill onto the upside there. Now it goes 261, man. Now 550 going higher on that one. So yeah, this is just a trade for me. It's 10:20 already. We're going to be just chilling out. Like I said, we've made our goals. If something else happens to hit, I will go right over there. We sit in this desk for a reason, to make a little bit of cash. But there's more to be made, man. We're going to sit here and try to find it. Looks like Netflix might have made a little bit of a bottom as well. I really like Take-Two. I'm just hearing right now, Public Investment Fund taking a Take-Two right now. So that's an interesting name that I was thinking about picking up some more here on TTWO ahead of Grand Theft Auto,
which is coming
in November.
I think that was like a $400 trade right there.
No questions asked about that.
Bucko?
Heard of that firm, but doesn't ultimately matter. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Intel is right back at the highs. That's suddenly looking pretty bullish. It doesn't actually break the pre-market low. If this holds back onto the long way down the price, I gotta start thinking the other direction. I know I just said I felt bullish about Palantir, relatively speaking, but I gotta think the same thing over there about Intel. We'll go to Jared a quick little second. The open on Palantir. There's a higher low. There's VWAP. it's now sort of setting up an upward trend that will correspond for now with the volume weighted average price. Hasn't broken out the high, but if it can bounce one more time off this trend line, look for the long off the trend. It's still a potential reverse later on in the session if it happens, but Palantir is seemingly caught a bottom. I like spots in a market like this where we're trying to bounce off the lows that didn't actually break their lows. So it was already relatively strong to begin with, and it's sort of starting to set up an upward trend. Let's go to Adara because it's time for the small cap recap. Hopefully Rise has, Ryan has stopped its fall and actually rising after it's got quadrupled a little bit this morning.
For what it's worth, before I get to small caps, the public investment fund or PIF that reportedly invested in TTWO, I haven't seen anything about this yet, but for what it's worth, I was 95% sure when I checked. Now I'm 100% sure that public investment fund, that's Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund. So PIF is a Saudi vehicle. I just want to put that out there. That is what that group is. I want to start with the small caps. I'll start with OLP, the OLP group, and now it's a global partnership with PayPal, where it's an enhanced secure pay payment gateway platform. So OLP, the PYPL partnership, and we have DXAI.
What's good, man?
Certainly not new to the small cap recap or the
What's
small
up,
cap
my artist?
Definitely.
Ain't you my artist?
Repeat offender here, that's for sure.
What you feel like creating today? You don't know?
Who supercharge their AI video tools.
Well, you said
Daxos
that
and ByteDance partnership here with GXAI. Last but not least,
since you're not going to school, you're gonna work on your craft this morning. You said you was gonna draw.
Just a standard small cap press release.
You said you was gonna do some stuff. So I'm trying to figure out
So basically just generic headline to draw up attention for the stock. RIME is bouncing a little bit of lows, but as we know,
you gotta come up with one design.
Typically near the end of the session. Back to you.
You hear me?
And Sean.
You gotta come up with one
We talked
design.
about that with Ryan and Algorithm Holdings. Was we're in an environment now where suddenly, I know it hasn't been good for the stock because it's quadrant to the downside, but where small companies can disrupt large
You gotta
markets.
draw one
If you're
picture.
remembering last week when a bunch of transport names were just in the tank, because of these guys. Because
Yeah,
of
that's
because
what
the
you gotta do.
headline from Ron, an incredibly small company that was able to do large damage. Now, unfortunately, you guys can see it pretty clear. This has completely given up almost the entirety of the move overnight. It's now red 10%. It's going to be SSR today and tomorrow. That means the uptick rule is going to be in effect on this stock, making it a little bit difficult for shorts. I'm not saying I'm going long here, but I'm going to start looking for some kind of a dead cat bounce long. It's kind of hoping it wouldn't hold on to this hold price. If it doesn't, then you could retrace back into where this chop zone happened, where it formed this trend on Friday. It was all from about 160 to 225. That just feels like a zone where you could find a little bit of support. So PM&R still holding on underneath the volume weighted average price. I'll reload it at VWAP and hold, scalp to the low of the day, then play for about 19.5. And then the aforementioned Palantir earlier. Just as soon as I said it looked like we had a bit of a trend that was holding, it's going to break underneath the trend line. So it does not hold. So once I have 3 points on the trend line, I consider it a trend on the 3-minute worth trading off of, but we don't hold on. So I got to think about the short, unfortunately, here in Palantir. It just seems like nothing wants to hold on to the bid that strongly. Unless you happen to be in like an Apple, there's probably a few other names that are out there, but most of it looking weak. So you need to look short on crypto, whether it's BM&R right now or IBIT, which we were in earlier, but now all of a sudden Palantir starting to look weak, unfortunately. I see a few names in the chat, and I saw that one as well. Pony West, shout out to you for pointing out that Coinbase is actually trend up. Or it's down 1%, but compared to the overall market, this is relatively strong. It's strong relative to crypto. It's strong relative to the market. All of that being said, when I said that I like to break out trade on Coinbase on Friday, 168. 168 Friday, 168 going back into early in the week. If you don't get through that, then what have we done? What have you accomplished down here with the bar? But if you don't follow through on Coinbase, hard pass for me. So it's like a wake me up when it's breaking out the 168. Then I think it's got some real juice. Like you can go 20, 30%. Off of that low. But until that happens, hard pass on chasing the Coinbase move. When I zoom out, I just don't really like that chart until we can get through that 168.
All right. Oh, I'm a new voicemail 4 minutes ago. What is that? All right, guys. Yeah, just hanging out right now. I'm trying to figure out. Take two still going through. A 1 year voice message. We'll check this out. Okay. No, because normally no one actually leaves a message. You know, so
You know when you scream, have you ever actually had somebody respond to you when you guys screaming?
Yeah.
Screaming? I've never had it happen. I'm waiting for. Not once have I screened a call with AI and had them actually give a response to the.
Yeah, no, it depends who it is. Like if it's like I had someone from Wealthsimple trying to get my money. They called and
They did say something.
they said, yeah, this is blah 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 for Wealthsimple. You know, no, it was my son. I think just did a butt dial. So I'm like, why is he fucking me? He must be outside during his break. Right there from
Nutrition break.
Oh, do they? Yeah, I think they just call me necessity around our place, but he's going into high school. All right, so there. I mean, Apple. We have literally nothing left. Like, if we break 259.50, let's just get out of Apple. We only have 5% left, and then now we have 1%. So absolutely nothing. 259.48 break down, and we will get out of that one, and then that's it, man. If we can get back in here into VWAP, maybe we can reload and do something with that as well. I see Palantir was up, and then now ease it down, and yeah, we should have. If anything we missed was this, we should have shorted that pop in the futures up to VWAP. That would have been, to me, the better play there if I had any sort of rate there. Boom. Futures might, I mean, make good money on them. I don't know if it's going to be my P&L number one so far this year, but probably silver. We talked about that silver trade. But yeah, there it is. 240. 24,650 or so is the high there for the Nasdaq. Let's see if it continues to work. But the reason why I called up Palantir is you were cruising there for not cruising, but you were making almost new highs there on Palantir just 5 minutes ago, and then it ripped all the way down $2 from 131 right to almost $3 to 128.50, and then we just found a level there, and I just missed it. So yeah, that would have been a nice long to have taken right there. So let's wait to see what Palantir does if it does get back into 128.50. So just thanks to everybody here in the chat, man. I don't know what you guys are talking about, but what up to Healing Pawns? Thank you for becoming a member there. We can have a look at Tesla. The market maybe bottoming. Yeah, so if Tesla 400 is coming in or it's there now, we can see like if this is going to be a bottom take here for, you're not in, you're still in BMNR, but if this was here, yeah, like we bounced around this level, you might be onto something with Tesla trying to find some support. It's 10:30, so it's the right time to potentially find some support. But Tesla just kicking around here 402 and change right now for TSLA.
Oh.
So yeah,
it comes right back to this area, has a reaction. We still got this. Let's see if it want to break through in these areas.
25 period as some kind of support if we do need it. So yeah, man. Crypto still 60. Yeah, you're in BMNR, so let me just quickly have a quick look at IPIT and see if it's at any sort of key levels. Yeah, the 50 period moving.
Let's see if it holds that.
We recently bought a little more at 65. We talked about that on the show. I think it was last Thursday or Friday. I don't know, 66.
You know what? We're gonna chill out.
So we're
because it is still in this downtrend.
69, 70 or so, but also
it's flushing off them levels.
There, so yeah,
it's flushing off them levels.
To complete the best.
But it seemed like we had a bottom, like right up in here. Oh my God, the chart is so horrible.
But if you're going to trade something Bitcoin related,
what is this?
I would trade MSTR. It's just
434.
Up 5% tomorrow. This thing will be up
434.
So just be careful with MSTR. If you're bearish on the name Bitcoin, definitely you know which way to go. But if you're bullish, I think you could do worse than buying MSTR right now. And Apple, unfortunately, we only had 1% left, so whatever. But it does come down to the 50 period moving average. We'll stop out of that one at 10:30, man. A half hour to go. Bulls have been made, and if something really lights up, then we'll take it if we light the lamp there. But for right now, it was Apple, and it was this trade, which was crazy on Amazon. Couldn't believe how much that really got going there to the downside. Just a bunch of great outs, man. on that one, and we'll just continue to wait to see where that next trade goes. And you guys put your things in the I moved down. We talked about the supply glut. Potential for Micron hasn't been yet. But at some point, there's going to be an overproduction of RAM, and this name will get absolutely crushed. But right now, 366, looking like it wants to hold there for MU. I still think it breaks it this week. 366 downside. Puts on MU might print very, very shortly. But there goes Micron right now, down 3%.
Yeah, not looking good for the market or Micron. NVIDIA underneath VWAP. I just saw a note. This probably doesn't, I don't know if it means anything, but Palantir moving its headquarters to Miami, Florida. From Denver, Colorado. So,
all right.
And I don't think that necessarily moves the needle for what it's worth. Palantir, sorry, I'm just looking at NVIDIA for you guys. Palantir looks like it's holding underneath the volume weighted average price. I wanted this to hold on to the trend line. It really hasn't. And now we're headed back into the low. But I have to respect something that's going on here. Here's Bitcoin at the bottom end of the range. ETHA, which if you're looking at BMNR, should matter more, goes VWAP into the low. So this goes VWAP into the low of the day. BMNR, however, is only gone halfway. So a little bit of relative strength in BMNR. That's going to mean no reload in front of VWAP. If I don't see the way crypto is, I'll maintain the stop over VWAP and I'll bid out into the low of the day. But I see relative strength all of a sudden in this particular name relative to what's going on in crypto. Let's go over to Adara, already 10:30.
I have a story here and a pretty notable caveat for said story on NVDA. So, according to an SEC filing, SoftBank dissolved its share stake in NVIDIA. However, we already knew this.
Yeah,
I looked this up to clarify. As of like mid to late November 2025, we already knew that SoftBank was or had already dissolved its share stake in NVIDIA. It looks like now just through an SEC filing, this is confirmed to have happened. So I do want to mention it because the stock is moving a bit and I'm continuing to see this headline circulate on social media. But just be aware here, guys. This NVIDIA stake being dissolved by SoftBank, this is not necessarily new information. Back to you.
Right. They had said they were doing that and then upping their stake in OpenAI as a result of it. So kind of old news. Anytime you see the market, that actually had reacted heavier to that headline and sort of resurfaced, that might have given you an opportunity to buy, but it didn't even move all that much. But that's why we have Adara. So you make sure that you know what the actual news is. Just quickly, I'm just seeing something on Rivian here. There's some speculation online Rivian building a robo-taxi speculation after a job posting. I don't know how many times we see headlines like this where it's like there's a certain job posting and people read between the lines thinking that so-and-so is doing this. Once we thought that Apple was building a car because of a job posting. But it is what it is. It's still trending down in. I played it off a 3-minute trend break here, but we're now heading back into a potential gap fill in 16.5, which was where it turned on Friday. Finally, it's starting to go down. And here's a good point. Joseph Birch Music, I was sort of saying finally starting to go down on BMNR. If you don't get to the low when the rest of crypto does, look at this price area that we're sitting in. I'm playing this to flush into some of these lows at 19.5 into 19.2. Pretty solid price area for BMNR, right at about 19.8 into 20. So if it's not going to fall through soon, it has been holding. Like at the end of the day, this is a name that is down like a good 70%. So unlike the most of the stuff that you're looking at, which is overall market's not in bear territory. Like this is in whatever death territory for quite some time, and it's holding some higher lows. So there's a consolidative area that I do want to respect. And I just saw Bitcoin again wick the lows. We just wicked the lows again on Bitcoin, and same thing with ETH, and BMNR is barely moving underneath this 20 level. So I'm going to try to take another leg out here. It's just, for whatever reason, relatively strong. It's not flushing into the low of the day like I'm seeing in ETHA and into IBIT. So I have to respect that fact and maybe take a little bit out, a little bit more shallow than we were expecting here. Can't explain why, but doesn't matter why BMNR is relatively strong. It doesn't seem to want to follow to the lows.
Yeah, we have a new position over here, Palantir. All right. I mean, we're long right now at 128.90s. We'll take a little bit out there at 129.10s as we start to climb a little bit higher. Okay, Palantir, I see you. Let's take some more out. Why not? As we start to get some more out on the upside right here for PLTR. Jinx, no jinx, but there it is. It is now 3 for 3. And you guys mentioned before, we got a super chat there that said about, some of the things that we have been teaching, patience and, specific trades, trading less, looking for the best opportunities. And hopefully we had found another one right here with PLTR off some of those lows. Look, still get stopped out, but we're going to take something out on the upside here for 40 cents and then wait to see if there is more of a maturation of price here on PLTR. So far, so good here today. Apple, Amazon, and then Alex Carpenco entering the building right now for me on PLTR. Get some more out. There it is. Yes, get some more out at 30s. Here goes Palantir. Oh boy, we're doing it again, and we're doing it live. And we're doing it with Adara right here at the Bet at desk.
Only skeptical, but I looked into this Rivian thing with the robotaxi because I saw the same headline Neil saw. As you can see, the stock not really reacting to it, and the post was from 10 a.m., so about 36 minutes ago now. The screenshot did not mention the name of the role because what I was trying to do is try to ascertain when Rivian posted this role looking to hire this individual again for the role that people are suspecting could be robotaxi related. So I went straight to this Rivian stock postings. I've gone so far through the first 15 or so, the most 15 recent. I cannot find this posting. So I'm not saying it's not real, but I'm saying A, maybe they've removed it, or B, this might not be as recent as the screenshot and its circulation would necessarily have you believe. So I'm still going to look into this, but again, I don't even see a name here for this robotaxi role based on the screenshot, and it doesn't necessarily 100% conform to what I'm seeing is Rivian's general standard for how it posts its job. So I'm going to keep looking into this, but I just want to kind of add a little layer of skepticism when it comes to this potential Rivian robotaxi speculation. Back to you.
But that's why you keep your ear to the ground. Ultimately, if it was a bigger catalyst, you would see it in the price action. Rivian literally didn't move when that happened. So that's why you gotta. The first things first. If it was going absolutely crazy, I'd give it a little bit more credence, but it is not. And Lydia just said, "What is up with coin?" Relief rally in Coinbase. It is still relatively strong. 168. Still not even close to the 168 level, but we are trying to fill in a little bit of that gap. We get to 68, that's the big breakout trade on Coinbase. Probably a short first if we get a chance, but it's doing so without the rest of crypto. I did at lows. Obviously, Bitcoin hasn't been that good. BMR is finally trying to track back into some of these bottoms with the rest of the market. But Bitcoin is not Coinbase. Coinbase is not Bitcoin. They do have their own business that is separate, and they did have a somewhat solid report, and the market kind of liked what they saw there. I'm not a gigantic fan of them. I'd rather buy Bitcoin at these prices while I'm waiting for 50 than I would Coinbase, but it is relatively strong and moving away from Bitcoin. You have to respect what is going on in the stock and not just old associations. That's something that hasn't been there for a while. We have these direct correlations between some of the crypto space, and it's the same thing happening in big caps. Right? There's a misalignment or kind of the webbing being broken in the Mag 7. You've seen that in a lot of tech. You're seeing it happen in the crypto world as well.
Okay, we are right now watching out for this Palantir. The only trade we have on right now is Palantir. So getting some orders out. We're starting to take a little bit of profit on this name. I mean, it's 40 cents in the money and just hitting up to view ops. We just took a couple more out. I'm still waiting for 129.50. I mean, those were our best fills. That's right where view op and the 50 period moving average. So we'll try to be as patient as we can with Palantir and let it go. Because if it breaks the bottom, we want to get out. Actually, starting to ease it out. We're already out at 40%. Could still be a bad losing trade as the market. Damn you, market, man. We should be short there. We're not. Yeah, breaking near the lows there. You know what? The thing about missing a trade, and we could talk about that all the time, as Rose miss trades, of course, and that is at least we had the right process. So make sure you do follow at Trader TV, Sean. We had that on and out right there for the short as well. We got blown out and they got right back in it, and now we're trying to go long on PLTR. So 2 longs and 1 short, and the market continues to bleed down. We're at the lows. right now. Come on, market, man. This could be an absolute monster for PLTR if it goes. All right, it's Adara over there at the desk. It's 10:40. Wow, this day's going on pretty quickly.
This is a very eye-popping sector board, guys. They say that because there is a lot of weakness, and there's a lot of sectors that I think are just very obviously underperforming or overperforming their peers. So let's get into it. Tech services, when I talk about underperformance, this is, I think, the most obvious weak link here. Oracle down 4%, Adobe down 3%, CRM down 3%, Apple down 4%, Google down 2%. Second, only green name here that I'm seeing is, who is this guy? That is FIS. So that's the only green name here, up about 2%. Electronic tech less weak than tech services. You've got GE and Apple both to the upside, but a lot of the other names, you're still down 2% or so. Retail trade relatively weak. Home Depot, Lowe's, and Walmart to the downside ahead of a couple of retail earnings, including Walmart later in the week. You've got consumer durables to the downside, energy minerals sharply to the downside as we get potential resolution here with Iran, or at least talks that apparently went well between the U.S. and Iran. We've got non-energy minerals pretty weak. These are manufacturing week with John Deere earnings on watching Thursday morning, same day as Walmart. Relative strength, and relative is a very strong word here, it's pretty much just in the finance sector. You've got Citigroup up about 2%, Visa, JP Morgan, and Berkshire Hathaway all up 1% or so. So if you're looking for strength, finance might be the one sector. Any of it of note. Utilities, though, we also have CEG up about 4%, Constellation Energy. It's kind of a data center related play. So interesting look for them. But other than that, finance is really going to be upside today, guys. Back to you.
Thank you, Derek. Just want to remind everybody, and thank you, Ryan Duffy, for putting a dollar sign in front of SLV. That we do have our stock visualizer up there. We've been trying to cover as many names as we can for you. Not just what we're trading, like a small cap like Ryan, Tesla, number one on the list, down 4%, and actually bouncing off the board. AMD, unfortunately, down another 5% today. Not looking very good for them. AMD underneath this 200 is nasty. We said maybe this could. Maybe it could. It's not happening. 193 would be this local support down to that price. If this moves as a 200 period moving average, I'll feel a heck of a lot better about not loading back into this stock. Because I was saying the other day when we got back into the highs, sold some of the 200, didn't buy in that 200 level. I'll feel a heck of a lot better about that if we lose the 200 period moving average. This feels like it's ripe for correction in terms of its price relative to NVIDIA. NVIDIA is just cheap. It makes sense to me. So to me,
let's see, can this market get going?
NVIDIA in this environment has to go up. That 200 period potentially this week it could come into play. If it can't bounce there, really 160 potentially on AMD, 150. All bets are off. Like this P is kind of ridiculous relative to NVIDIA.
Yeah, I had to sell some of those. I didn't have to, but sold some of those up there at 250, along with Intel sales as well. Didn't sell any NVIDIA, but sold those two. So those look great. And thank you again, Palantir. Just waiting, man. We just tweeted out that, thanks Brian Shannon, we're at VWAP right now on PLTR. I could probably I was waiting for 70s. Let's take something out here. There it is. Just because this is the highest we've been. Now, okay, here we go. We just get 70s? No, we almost did. So this will be, believe it or not, the $9th that we've taken out of the market here today. So when we talk about dollar clubs, $9 so far. And we just got to get 70s to make it not too bad today with missing the downside play on the Qs as well. Coming in. Looks like you're going to have a treat there this afternoon. What's going on, Obi? Obi right now filling in for Sharif. For how long?
I think just like an hour.
Just for an hour there for Sharif. Okay, so Obi building right there for Sharif. So get ready in just 15 minutes. Amazing. So hopefully Sharif will be back, but you've got Obi kicking out for you guys. So that's going to be a great one there. We say, oh boy, Obi, so far today, $9 out of the market here today. We'll hear what Obi's been killing it on as he comes through. Joe ready to go as well. So thank you, Celeste. for all the talk today, man. We've been putting up a lot of these there today. We love all
Boom, 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 baby. Let's get it.
So getting in there, it's going to be a good one.
It's just a matter of when you see him on it. He trades every single day, for sure, but he's always
not every day, but he's always look at the trade.
Let me cover that.
Here we go. Everybody trades every day. That's right.
Exactly. Yeah, there it goes, man. Nice move for Palantir. As it's our $9 out right there. So far, so good, man. Palantir, Apple, and Amazon really putting us where we need to be. And we said, like, we wouldn't look for too many opportunities, but, when we see them, we did mention Palantir a bunch of times. So there it goes on that low side and found a bid. So take it up, and that's that. So,
and what we doing? We not letting these trades come against us. We taking that motherfucking profit. We up 1,600 so far on the day. Just taking those little 200-300s. We not, we not going full size. We not doing none of that. What we doing is we building. We're not rushing it. We taking our time with it. And we just scalping. So what is that? I got out like right in here. What is that? Like $100 move? Oh wait, 58.
I don't have like an exhaustive list by any means, but you could always check out for the major companies. It'll be in our daily calendar on X at TV Research. So I post these every day at 3 p.m. before the next session. So tomorrow's daily calendar is going to come out at 3 p.m. tonight. So if you want to go back to Friday afternoon to see today's daily calendar, you can get a sense of some of the companies that are going to be at some of these conferences. Back over to you.
Nice.
Thank you very much, Derek. T2 Trade just asked about this PLYX. Thoughts on it? Remember, this stock, this is the one that Luis mentioned this morning that went for like $60-something from
thank you, Mike Dorada.
Basically nothing. So this is a high probability alter just given the volatility. I'm staying away from this at the volume weighted average price. Usually small capper that loses VWAP, short VWAP until proven otherwise. But this is like a rip your face off kind of stock. A line on the chart isn't going to matter too much for this on PLYX. So it's gearing up. If you're in the long, obviously, it's looking pretty good to you. But I'd watch out for that $5 level, though I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole trying to short it. Coinbase is incoming to 168. So it's almost there now. But here we go, Coinbase. This is a level, Friday's highs, not just Friday, but also go up right back into the beginning of the week, 168. So I'm looking for a reversion first. Close above on the 15, and then I would consider the long, but it's already filled in a gigantic amount of that gap. So look for a trend break and a pullback into VWAP would be my play. I like the fact that it's doing this, and the rest of crypto is still looking weak. So it just kind of confirms.
What's up, champ?
Another retest of VWAP turn BMNR. As long as we hold it again, then I can reload this trade too.
Now $1.70 in the money on Palantir, putting it near $10 so far here today. So it's been a pretty good day right there. We are heading up into sort of highs of the day on Palantir. And again, like follow our Twitter, we posted this up as we were taking the trade. This was, remember, where our stop was, again, right back into here. So you want to talk about like just the right amount of risk, I think it's good. Now we're up $1.70. I'm going to take another piece out at 54 as we continue to climb higher. We still have 25% on of this trade. We did probably take out a little too many because that's where it was bouncing. And all we're trying to do is stack it up, right? So, today's been a money storm kind of a day. So it's obviously been a good one. Yeah, we actually, the TQQs, thank you, David, for asking over there. Yeah, we did have a play today on it. And many of you banked, but not I, because I did not take it. And we were short. We were long on Apple. And we wrote down 48.50 short on the top end. This was early. We talked about that, and it just we didn't take it in the pre-market. So that's why. And I knew that was potentially going to happen in the pre-market because it was pretty great there. And so we didn't look at that, but then it goes up. This is 48.50. You know what I'm saying about the pre-market? Was already here at 47.50. So this was a level that we were looking at, and it was pretty good, man, because it came up right there and hit 47.50 again But because you're asking, that's that 48.50, and yeah, we did mark it down, and we didn't take it. But yeah, that's something that we put on there, and it was obviously a pretty good one for me, but don't have it. So hopefully somebody over there does. But yeah, really good day. Obviously, as we're going to go 3 for 3 and just continue to look for more opportunities. But for right now, this is what we're doing. It's the TQQs. What's up, Notorious Dinkelberg? Right there. Money bag, check mark. Hopefully you put it. Every trade can go against you, so you got to be careful. Make sure you do take some profit. But let's go find out here. You mentioned it was chili on Friday. Today is the 17th. So today we had for breakfast, we had hard-boiled eggs. So if Sharif's not here, there's still some left. So that's good. You guys can go grab that. Yesterday was family day, so here, off on that one. And today, the flag mark, Indian today. That's okay, Barry. It's not spicy. This is the most white Indian food of all time. Everybody should guess this 100%. It is butter chicken.
So my daughter recently.
Neil, you got it right, my guy.
That's the easy. That's low hanging fruit.
Yeah, well, exactly. With aloo gobi, basmati rice, and it's supposed to be cucumber salad, I guess. Right there. So shout out, Matthew. That should be pretty good.
Literally, we had butter chicken yesterday.
Butter chicken. Yeah,
I can't even make it.
I love it. Yeah. Our Chris makes great butter chicken from scratch as well. So shout out to his wife. All right, Darren, I think you'll be lunch, so we'll give you an update on that one. Yeah, probably will be a little bland, but it'll be good. We're happy for the butter chicken. All right, there goes Palantir, man. It's not one, it's two right now, and so far so good on the trading here today. And we'll go over to the desk and get the story. I think money talks from Madeira.
Yeah, anything can be spicy for me, Sean. So we will truly find out very soon if this passes the test. But either way, here, let's talk about the U.S. dollar, which is getting spicy to the upside. This is the second straight green day after a whole lot of chop for most of last week. We are coming to that prior level of resistance, which was, again, previous support near the end of last year. It's going to be around that level, currently trading around 97.5. Also just seen a meeting where we had at least one dissenting vote, in this case, 25 basis point cut. The rest of the infographic or any others related to this, but I am going to have some FOMC minute teaser infographics and visuals being recirculated over the next handful of hours leading up to that 2 p.m. on Wednesday at over to Sean and Neil.
Bring it back over here.
It's telling us what we already know, that they're not going to make a cut. It's that simple. No change. 90% chance. We're not going to see any rate cut. The only thing that's good if you're looking for cuts is the end of the year. Getting more than 2 has crept up, so we're actually looking a little bit better for potential 3 cuts for sure. Salvador with a comment. I thought it was super chat, but it's not. It's a comment up there. Good call on the Palantir long. Wish I would have joined you on that one. Got to make your own trades, but that's the idea. It's just showing you guys what's out there and the opportunities that we're looking for. Certainly. Obviously, I'm assuming the stop was about 128.5. So it's your trade, not mine. But the entry point.
I mean, thank you for it. I mean, you guys could 128.50. That's where we're along 128.75. But to Neil's point, I don't necessarily say okay, now this is 5 to 1 in the money or anything like that, right? I mean, it's not. It's just about trying to find the best trades, and then, as we said, try to organize them to the best. If I knew it was, I said the next sort of outs would be here near this high of the day. So we're really happy to have 4 more all the way up here. And we still got on 20% of this trade. So it's still a really good one. And I want to thank you, Salvador, for those kind words as well, as we're near the top, or where we need to be anyways, for today, right? I have certain goals in mind, and we're there today right now, so that's a good one. I just want to say, I'm going to be gone.
Boo to this trade so far. Boo.
Coming in when he gets here, so that should be a lot of fun. What they did, it was an extended weekend here in Canada as well. All right, so Roblox, just want to see the zeros here today. So, they got to get that figured out. But
wow, I went in 3 extra sizes. It's crazy. I got up out of that though, because that was, I just wanted 2, not 3. Savannah.
System, whether or not on your PC, your iPhone, your tablets, anything like that. So I do think there's some advantages to actually protect, because we can protect our kids themselves.
Or some
Time is bad.
figure out what you finna do.
Wait to see what happens with Roblox. Plus, they have some concerns about privacy and whatnot as well. So this might not be a name that I don't think I'm going to get into it, but looking at this again, could be bought at these levels. They're great levels, right down. This is what I said about Palantir and all that, right? Although Palantir right now we're long, we're now 250 now in the money on the Palantir long. That's at 131 right now, but just looking, there's other names to be concerned with, but at the Terra lows on a name that potentially has a lot of juice back to the upside. So Roblox something to look at. Palantir's lows, and again, there's the trade is just booming right now. Palantir's lows during the Terra time are way down to $80. This is what drop in $80-$90 would be a great level. For me, anyways, on PLTR. But so far so good. With only 2 minutes left, we'll go to the gym, we'll get some laps, and we'll come back and enjoy some butter chicken.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely enjoy some butter chicken. I'm just hoping that there's enough chicken in there. The last time we had, they served something that was nice and saucy and flavorful. Let's just say the pieces of chicken were so small that you would barely even find it. No, it was, don't get me wrong, I love butter chicken. Literally had it yesterday, it's always fun when...
That is what happens to us a lot, too.
So it's weird. It's what it is. It's just that you remember it and mention it when it happens, but like all the other times that you eat something completely different. So it probably doesn't happen that often, but I always love it when my daughter finds something new that she likes to eat because it gives us something else to be able to have. So we'll take our first crypto. It's not a hit, but we're trying to break out about VWAP. Remember I said earlier that this was not moving to the lows as much as Bitcoin was? Well, two things. One, it didn't get to the lows. Two, Bitcoin actually got past VWAP. So another reason not to reload this one, as if we do a complete V-shaped recovery and I'm chilling and we're looking at 38.5 again, great. I'd remain bearish and look for the reload on IBIT. But for now, BMR, we're going to jump out of it. Just wanted the continuation play. Like as we're continuing to trend down, I thought BMR could have got us a little bit lower. Next available breakout. This needs to hold above on this 15-minute time frame. Once it can prove to me it does that, then I go for the long in Coinbase. Try to fill in more of the gap. Crypto doesn't have to be strong for these guys to look more close, and we'll try to get that long. We got Obi filling in for Sharif, so it should be a treat for everybody. We got Joey options. We've got Obi-Wan Kenobi. We'll be back at 2 o'clock, everybody. Cheers.
Hey. A new thing here, with this. You make a square.
Am I doing that right?
Yeah, and then you can flip it to another square. Flip.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Flip game strong.
Flip game strong.
Oh,
Yeah. What's going on, everyone? All right, let's get this chat up here and see what we got going on. Joey options in the house. We're flipping streams here. I don't see very many people going in here. But aside from that, what's going on, everyone? I hope everyone had a
Experience better rest for less and shop the President's Day event at the Living Spaces Sleep Center. Save up to $500 on select Tempur-Pedic mattress and adjustable base sets, and save up to $400 on select Sealy mattress and adjustable base sets. Don't miss the President's Day event, only at the Living Spaces Sleep Center.
3 ice cold Jägermeister shots, please. Those look warm.
Serve it cold or don't serve it at all. Jägermeister. Damn, that's cold.
Live exclusively on DAZN, February 21st, Barrios versus Garcia. In this city, everything is a gamble. Will Barrios punish another challenger, or can Garcia turn height into history? Barrios versus Garcia, February 21st. Watch only on DAZN.
going on, guys. Market relatively quiet. Let's see what we got here. Back Crasher says, my boy. Jody. Exactly. Jody, what's going on? We had a fantastic weekend. Darwin the Trader, Other Zinc, Mr. Leahy. You are the liquor. Okay, Darwin the Trader, Jacquees Demore, Kalua. Yo, what's going on? What's going on, everyone? Hope everyone had a fantastic weekend, and hopefully you guys had a great start to your trading week. Me? Not so much. I mean, take a couple things can change in the meantime. Obi, how's your day been?
Not too bad. Kind of, came in to this morning, was talking to the pod, and we were all like, yeah, I don't really see too much too crazy. Maybe some potentially. I was looking at a Google continuation, and that did come in quite nicely, but it wasn't really involved. unfortunate. It comes right back in our low break at 311s on Google itself. So a much higher time frame trend break potentially happening. Looking for that. Gave it to us pretty clean here with a strong bid off of the open 305 area rejection that was in and around prior day's lows, and it gave us a back through opening range highs, back through VWAP, back through open, back through opening range lows as well. Kind of consolidated, got to 296s, and then bid back up. But I didn't take any of that at all.
Didn't take any.
I was busy with some Zim Zimma.
Ooh, Zim Zimma. We took the keys, my boy.
Exactly. So Zim came out with buyout news, and again, with not too much on the roster, I was just like, all right, cool. What actually has news this morning?
Yeah,
Netflix was one of them.
Netflix.
I had Zim, and then what's that? Massimo. Massimo was one of them. MASI. Again, I got all three of those from the morning watch list.
Oh,
so yeah, definitely some good stuff there.
How do you get the morning watch list?
It gets emailed to me every signed up for it, and it gets emailed to me every morning. So shout out to Adara for curating that watch list every morning. So anyways, Zim was definitely on watch for me, and coming in off of the open. Strong flush. I was like, okay, all right, maybe it's happening. Something's happening here. It's very clear that this is not acting like a buyout, like an M&A should necessarily normally does. And I was like, okay, fine, game on. Momo on buyouts. I always love more Momo, and whenever I get a chance to participate in some buyout Momo, it's always the best because again, lots of liquidity. You can just there's enough liquidity on both sides to take some decent size and risk appropriately as well. And I think one key area here, Joe, was this one right here. Just a simple pre-market low. Yeah, pre-market low. This is a 1 minute chart, so because we can get a little nitty gritty with this one. Pre-market low, initial flush. Maybe tells you who's in charge. Like, I don't know what it's going to do. I have no idea. But in that moment, the tape and the price action basically said, nope, we are not going that way.
No,
and I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to listen. Nope, we're not going that way. Slam into that 2940s. And then boom. Yeah, no, it's been trying for this thing. And best opportunity on the Zim, I think it's already passed. But in this moment, it just tells you that no, we're not going this way right now. So a decent execution on that one. Because of busy ones. Because it was 50 on the bid. 50 on the bid, and I'm like, oh, should I take it? I'm like sizing. I'm like, I should try to take 6 pennies worth of risk. It slams down to 40s. I'm like, nope, I got to get in right now. Slam into those 40s and risk now, which was that was a bit of an issue, risk, and then it slammed down 50 pennies.
Yeah, that's a good almost 10-1 right there.
Yeah, so I did not expect it to do that, but it was very clear that someone had some selling to do. Someone was selling, and I was like, all right, cool. I'm not gonna. We'll see if those 3 or 5s or 3 or 4s hold as resistance as of right now. But I want to know what you guys have been trading. What are you guys up to? Like I said before, did not see too much coming in off of the open. Stuck with the stuff that's in play here with a $180 bid. It was another buyout deal here. Didn't really do too much in the pre-market, so didn't crazy, nothing too flashy, but definitely in play and definitely some of, in my opinion, the easy money trades on the day today. But that's all I really have as of right now. Where's the next trade? Is the question that I'm asking. You guys let me.
Well, I don't hold where the next trade is. There, brother. No, all right, guys. Let's take a look at what we got going on here today. Bitcoin short, looking for the continuation to the downside, and a no-go as it broke through the volume-weighted average price. And the exact same thing here with silver, right? So it's just like, see you later. We'll find something else if we're not going to get that continued breakdown. I had a gap fill idea here this morning, but once again, I didn't have too much going on, so just chill day. Usually have a couple of pages worth of notes here in the morning. Didn't have that here today, so we'll see what we can find here. I mean, I have no issues with sitting with where I'm at. We'll typically put something on, but I'm in no big rush to put on anything that I don't really like. Less trades, higher accuracy, and that is the name of my game. Super chat there, my brother. Let's see what we got going on. Where's Shree? Is anyone might say at the gym or something? Or I don't know.
Yeah, very likely.
they're very
Very
if
light.
you're gonna put your money on where Sharif is, the safer bet would be to be put out.
Yeah.
So maybe we could throw that on the poly. Can we throw that on poly market? Can we make our own lines there, Obi, and just like where is Sharif?
Potentially extended gym session.
Extended gym session. Exactly. That's exactly what we want to see. But yeah, guys, those are my only two trades here today. I think there might be another opportunity to get the short in Bitcoin. We could take a couple more stabs at it here because I don't think it's in play like it was before. That we're ready to reverse these breadths with here. We'll take a second opportunity, and if it decides to break through that top and head into the pre-market, then maybe we get somewhat of a gap filled here today. So we'll have to give it a little bit more risk. I'm going to add some more size compared to what I had on the previous trade, just in case we're at a dodge, because I think we can fill this gap here on Bitcoin. Adara, what do you have for us?
I have here Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac on his Substack that he is, quote, doubling down on his positions to the upside. So again, FNMA and FMCC, both on the move higher. Back to you.
For that, Adara, Fannie Mae, and Freddie Mac. Throw it up there, Assassino. Pick them up.
Ooh,
Oil.
that's isn't that don't they do like what do they call it, the lottery?
That's OLG.
That's right. That's OLG.
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
OLG.
Okay,
Yeah.
OLP. Oh, all right. Cool. I mean, they want us to take a look at some small caps here. 5.6 market cap with about 8 million shares on the float. Interesting. Dollar break. It's going for it. Attempted the dollar break there into the pre-market session to 112s. Definitely in play today. 300 years on. It's just on a 5 period, so it'll measure the 5 previous sessions and be like, all right, cool. How much relative volume are we doing today? 30,000. That's not something you see every day, but in and around about $1. Let's see that $100, $200. I'm sure it'll go even more crazier the further we go back. There you go, 4,200. So definitely something that split a few. Don't really know what else is going on there, but interesting that they're up a decent amount here. Almost, was it just about 100%? Yeah, 114%, 125% from some of these reference lows from the pre-market. I guess the news came out somewhere around pre-market. I'm going to assume around 8:15. That's when that volume really starts to come in and price starts to spike around there. But 8 million share float. Don't know how much of the open. The 6860s here on the ES, and then just above 24.8, all the way back up into some of these prices. Let's see if we see more of the same here, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, so we're sitting in this trade. I don't have too much confidence in it, to be honest with you, because every time we look to take a move lower, we do get bought right back lower. But every time we go to push back down, you can see on the tape here that there's buyers just stepping right back in at higher prices. So that's something that we need to be cautious about. I did add approximately 66% more size. Ideal would be a pullback towards the volume weighted average price. But first things first, we have to be patient on this specific trade, right? We don't want to get out prematurely. But if it shows that we need to get out, we'll take a little bit bigger of a loss than what we want right here at the break of that 38.52 mark. Adara, what do you have?
Yeah, we already heard commentary from Iran's foreign minister and how talks went with the U.S. on oil. Now we're hearing from the U.S. officials when it comes to these talks with Iran. According to the U.S. officials here, Iranians are saying they would come back in the next 2 weeks with detailed proposals to address some of the open gaps in the U.S.'s position, saying, quote, program of these also airplane and cruise names, anything that uses oil. Sometimes if you get a move up in oil, you can get a move down in these cruise and airline names and vice versa. Back to you.
Good. Thank you very much for that, Adara. And then we just keep talking book here, essentially with Bitcoin. So if we're continuing to climb, you can see every time we push back down, it gets brought right back up. So we have to be cautious with this one. ZIM, I do like what we have from the signal. I'll pull something up for you guys. It's just made life significantly easier. And one thing is you just have to be extremely nimble in this market. Like, we were off to a pretty good start here in February. We don't want things to cool down too much. I mean, that was last year. We took 2 red days last week, but other than that, I mean, in the span of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 training sessions. We only have 3 red ones. And that was just making life simple, right? Going with the flow. Going, and that's kind of the narrative that I want to stick with. So I am counter trending. I am looking at some VPA signals here, but one thing to note is that the volume isn't correlating with the price. So let's get out of Bitcoin and not make our lives any more difficult as it's heading right towards our stop. and then we'll try to find an opportunity in which we want to go with the trade. So we do take a little bit of a hit there on Bitcoin, and we start the day 0 for 3, and that's totally fine. If I don't trade anything for the rest of the day, then I have no worries about it whatsoever. There's still 3 more remaining after this trading session. If you're not in sync with the market, don't continuously force it. With that being said, I need a higher quality setup. I do like what Zin's doing, and that might be my last attempt here on the day, guys.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's important. On a holiday shortened week, there may not be anything too crazy, and again, stock selection, and just take a little bit of a breather. And that's kind of how I felt this morning.
Yeah,
I was like, I didn't know. Like, I looked at everything, I run through my scans, and I'm like, I don't really see anything too great.
There was nothing. Yeah.
And I don't want to push it, but you never know when something's going to fall into your lap, and that's kind of what you have to wait for, sitting on your hands until you see that. And then just hitting that to the best of its to the best of your abilities, for sure. I think is the key to kind of staying consistent and staying sane as well.
Yeah.
Weekend, and I was just like, there was a lot of just like I guess false perspective, and that can be so easy to get frustrated on, because it's just
big time.
More likely not to work than or in your favor than it is to work, right? So. I don't know. Yeah. It's a good point that you make there.
I mean,
sitting on your hands is the hardest thing to do.
It's the hardest thing.
You can do it.
Like, if I go back, like, my loss on Friday was nothing, and my loss on Monday was essentially nothing either. So it's just like, okay, we're putting together solid weeks, and we don't really want to ruin that, right? So if you just take small losses, so much easier said than done. How do you do that? Sometimes it's just like by not trading time. Also you need to help keep your sanity. It's like, okay, we get out. It could continue to rip, but right away we're right, like a minute and a half later, we're right back essentially to my opening price. Line is going to do that. Then it's just like, and you don't feel that like you're willing to cope with it. It's just like, all right, sit back, relax, or go do something, go hit the gym, or enjoy your time. But the nice little move back to the downside here in Bitcoin, still down 1.5% there, brother.
Yeah, I got Coinbase on watch here. Again, I totally forgot. As soon as you said Bitcoin, I was like, oh, wait, didn't Coinbase have earnings just yesterday? By yesterday, I mean prior trading session. And yes, it absolutely did. And you can see here that I still have my anchored VWAP from the earnings report, and it held quite well off of the open. This was a bit of a mistrade for me. 150 holds. Pulls back into that anchored VWAP. That's where we saw the bids coming in off of the earnings reaction. And we kind of accelerated, traded above that in the pre-market. Any sort of selling that came back down into that anchored VWAP, the bid shows right back up again, kind of giving us the perspective of, okay, well, it's literally doing more of the same. And the chart kind of telling you that, okay, maybe that's where we find the bid. And guess what happens once again today, Joe?
Yeah.
Selling off of the open, we find a bid off of that earnings. Mr. Brian Shannon for definitely popularizing this indicator, and very, very powerful indicator. It definitely is. And again, I think the key part of it in terms of just like how I like to use it is just off of events. And how do you define an event? You can be earnings. A volume related event is something that I do like to anchor it all back through the opening range high, back through earnings day one, which was just shy of 170, right? Yeah, 167.60 for granularity. Nice little strong volume candle on that push of 170 as well, and continuing holding highs with the market that's really strong right now. So it's another stack of confluence here on Coinbase. How far will it go? These day two plays, man, have been absolutely solid as of recent, and a big miss on my part not getting involved. Look at how nice you can be here on some of those key areas like the opening range high or the prior day breakout level as well. So Coinbase, great opportunities. Let's see what you guys are talking about here. AMD, apparently. Okay, cool. Let's take a look at some of these chips. I was watching Intel today off of the open, it was catching some. I think Friday session did not hold. That was Thursday as well. And you can see that initially off of the open, we reject that pretty hard on that bid that we get and down to the downside. So interesting action here on AMD. What was I? Session? I forget what specifically had specifically in the news or anything, but it did flush down pretty decently. So I had eyes on for a breakdown, because you can see this strong action here from Friday. Strong little bit of a shake and bake there with a low of 44.97. So I was like, all right, well, maybe I can take some inventory back through 45s, but that did not come in off the open. We caught a bit of a bid. The second time I was really looking at it here, Joe, 56. So about a penny away, and those sellers step right back in. And guess what? We're coming right back in. We broke that high now. We got up to 59. So 3 pennies, all the way above those highs, and then sellers are stepping back in. It seems like Intel's in a bit of a range, stuck in a bit of a range here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 legs within this range so far. Let's see if it goes for the 7th one back to the downside. That support on the day coming in. Resistance apparently as of right now at 46 halves, but that could change if this market continues to bid up pretty aggressively. Then who knows what could happen here.
Absolutely, I think that's going to be the narrative of the session here. I mean, I'm just looking at these price action prints. Don't forget, we talk about market delay, right? Like this is a different platform, bad market delay. Okay, so you'll see prints somewhere else. You want to check your latency all the time, right? There's good platforms. You get in there, it's like 50 MPS, right? Milliseconds per second or whatever it may be, MPS. You want to have the best. This is delayed. These are not. These are just more or less for charting. They're not for trading. Okay, keep that in mind. Volume is sitting around 65,000 here today. That's not horrible whatsoever, right? So the relative volume could be increased as well. MBPS, yeah, there you go. You can see on the 5-minute time frame right after the open, 5-minute open 3%, just like that in a span of 20 minutes or so. So keep that in mind. Not too bad of a look here, but there goes Bitcoin straight to the volume weighted average price. Just wick me out to the top side, and then now we're slightly in the ITM on that one. So we get out here for the break, holds it to the penny, and then decides to curl right back around. So we'll see if we can find something else.
Yeah, for sure. Market's taking a bit of I want to call it an opening range low, but an opening session low there. But market's taking a bit of a pullback here. You can see, wow, look at that. Sellers stepping right back in for now, where they were this morning as well. So I do have that on watch. But you know what? There's something about the chat.
Yeah.
It's a whole community.
Yes.
And where is the next opportunity can be, exercised a little bit better when there's thousands of eyes on the market, for sure, right? And I think that's what we're looking at right now. And I don't know specifically. Let's take a quick look at how many people are actually watching and tuning in right now to see what the numbers are. So we'll go to the YouTubes right here. Okay, cool. So there's me right there. There's you guys as well in chat. And we got about 5,100 watching right now. But guess what, guys? What is this? Ujo, what is likes? You got to run that up. Come on. That's not even, I want to see at least 20 to 30% minimum. Let's hit those likes. I think we'll be right back from Adara.
You guys are rookie numbers. You got to pump those numbers up. And I think Bitcoin also potentially trying to get pumped up here as well. If you look at this daily chart, there is a little bit of, you could argue this is a fair flag, but we'll just look here. We do a bit of a trend line being respected since that low we made on February 12th, around 65,000 more or less. Now today, trying to find some support at the 2,000 level that we've rejected as recently as Sunday, February 8th. Now, I think both MSTR and Coinbase and Wash, obviously Coinbase doing remarkably well today, CUI, recovering quite nicely, but Coinbase actually getting kind of a negative note here from Mizuho. And Mizuho did lower the price target of MSTR as well, but they did say that they think one thing that MSTR still has going for it is the fact that they do have Mizuho actually keeping a neutral rating on the stock, cutting its price target to 170. So again, MSTR and Coinbase, both with these analyst notes, COIN seeming to fare better than the group, even though the note they got was a little bit more negative. So interesting stuff here today in that crypto space. We're interested in more Coinbase earnings data. I posted a whole slew of infographics on Coinbase just over the weekend and also on Friday. So you can check all of those out on X at TTV Research. That's TTV Research. So send you back over to the midday one.
All right, yeah, I think maybe we're starting to get a slow curl over here in ZIM. I don't know how much of a rebound we're going to expect here on this name, to be honest with you, considering it's an M&A like you mentioned not too long ago. So maybe get that barcode. You can get in at the lower end of the range, obviously being preferred, so then you can really increase that risk to reward ratio instead of trying to buy the breakout. You did get that move right back in just a little bit above the volume weighted average. Boom, and then you're starting to get somewhat of a rebound. Market's slowly pulling back as well too, but some subdued volume, guys. So nothing to really be worried about. I think we can continue to climb, even though we did fail to construct a new high right here. Couldn't break. Keep an eye out on this. Maybe we can get a little bit of a recovery here in ZIM, and let's see. Just considering, right? Like, say, okay, we'll take a little bit out. We can essentially, and then boom.
That's it. That's how you do it.
Looking for. So yeah, that's unfortunate, but we'll find something here on ZIM.